Good evening, everyone. It is time for some playoffs here for DMV Winter 2026. My name is Shiv, joined by Derive to get you into the first of our 4 quarterfinal matches.
Shiv, I'm excited today, holy moly, because we have quite a banger of a matchup between Untitled and 9 to 5 Grustlers. Both these teams, obviously, I mean, if you're coming from an 18-team Swiss stage bracket, no matter what, the top 8 teams are going to be cracked. But these two in particular, Untitled was undefeated, went 6-0, and then 9 to 5 Grustlers, obviously, still really high up there, 4-2 record. Yeah,
Should be an interesting one to see if Untitled can keep that undefeated streak going. We are into draft. A lot of common bans that we've seen up against Untitled, with Evan playing all the mages in the bot lane, doesn't get the Hui, doesn't get the Mel, but they still are able to pick a pretty strong jungler to start us off in the Wukong.
yeah, probably going to Dota 2 as beater. I want to talk about some of the players on both these rosters. So Untitled, I think it's really hard to even give out a standout performance player on anyone, but obviously Evan DeBank as the captain has been doing incredibly well. And I think maybe one of the most valued players I would say might be in the mid lane for you to envy. Kind of has been going toe to toe against some of these Masters mid laners and like punching above his weight. So I'm excited to see him. And on the other side, the Grustlers. Uh, we got the Ezreal and actually a pretty early Mbessa lock-in.
Yeah, could
It's
be
quite interesting to
flexed, of
see.
course, to jungle or to mid for the Grustlers. It has usually, or excuse me, jungle or top. I don't believe, yeah, they don't have an Mbessa jungle game yet for Braun, so probably in Grustle's hands. But Untitled gonna respond with the Syndra and the Nico.
Yep. On the other side, I think Russell has been a really good performing player, and I think another person from the first picks, Cyrac, has been a long-known DMV mid laner, previously known for like the Echo, the Galio, and stuff like that. So we'll have to see if maybe, I mean, with the Syndra being locked in, one of those could be a response, but it will actually just be the Sona. And right now we're seeing quite two different drafts. I think Untitled is just going for this heavy dive with the Wukong Nico, very classic combination with the ultimates, the Cyclone into the Pop Blossom. Can't go wrong with that. On the other side, I think the Grustlers, taking a bit of a foot back. They have the Ezreal, the Sona to kind of scale up. Ezreal really good against this hard dive comp. But on the other hand, they have an Mbessa who really wants to kind of dive forward and get onto these targets like Syndra. So we'll have to see how that draft evolves. Fan phase starts.
Yeah, definitely a lot of strong scaling with the Sona. A bit worried maybe about the lane phase. Ezreal can be pretty safe, right? Even if they do get pressured by Nico and another prominent AD carry there from the side of Untitled. As we get into the second phase of bans, it is going to be a lot of mid laners taken off the board. Cyrac has shown great skill on the Akali, as have many DMV mid laners this split. So that one's taken off the board. Orianna also banned away, so 9 to 5 respecting that the Syndra could be going into the hands of Evan, and that there is still perhaps another mage that Untitled could pick up.
Yeah, that's always a thing. You never know exactly where these characters are going when you're facing against Untitled. Evan the Bank,
Oh yeah, and Bread
good
plays
mage
Wukong,
player.
so jungle is
Oh,
not out of the
oh, right.
picture yet either.
Yeah, we had that last series, right? We were like, oh yeah, the Trundle is gonna go top lane, and then the Wukong will go jungle. Nope. Bread switches it on us, and pulls out the Wukong top lane with Ignite. You never really know. So Grustlers, you have to keep that in mind with your fourth pick lock in here. It could be a blind pick for all you know, and it might not even be a counter pick to the Syndra. As a Sejuani will be the option.
Yeah, that is going to mean Mbessa will be top. You can see if Bread says, yep, I'm fine taking Wukong into that, give me my pocket pick, or if there's maybe something else he'd like to opt into up against the Mbessa. Dota 2 has his most played by far so far has been Xin Zhao. So with that off the board, he'd probably switch to another of the brawlers. And Trundle has been another one of his favorites. And along with the Mundo, that was banned away. So Trundle, still up, still going to be picked. Obviously, very nice into Sejuani, where you can subjugate away all that bonus armor. It is a very irritating matchup for Sejuani, where she can't really be a frontline and she can't really do anything to outpace the Trundle in the farm department like other junglers could.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that this could be the Wukong top lane. Sylas now being locked in will be the blind pick, I guess, for the mid lane. Means that the Syndra will be going towards the bot. And the Wrestlers, played their patient hand. Now can respond to their R5 and get this mid lane matchup that they want.
Yeah, I will say Echo and Galio were very common bans against Untitled throughout this split. Neither of them being taken away in this game. So if they want to put all their eggs into the scaling Ezreal, Sona, and Bessa when she gets 2 items, 3 items basket, Galio being that utility mage for Cyrac is going to be how they're going to round it out.
I think it's a really interesting draft. I think on both sides, I think Untitled obviously has very strong lanes besides the Sylas in the mid lane. Sylas might struggle a bit. But the Wrestlers, I think usually when I see Sejuani, I always think of combinations with top lane bruisers. So like Sejuani Camille, Sejuani Renekton. Sejuani, very good. That being said, I believe the Sejuani uh, might have a lot of responsibilities this game. So would like to go towards top lane for that Mbessa, try to get some dives, but bot lane might have to be protected. You are versus a Nico Syndra, and so it might be difficult for that laning phase, especially if Trundle swings by down there. A Dota 2's beater can obviously go for a 3 camp gank. So I'm kind of curious what Sejuani kind of how she passed this game. That will turn out.
Yeah, Sejuani, of course, with those melee lanes can try to take off from there. Ezreal, a bit more self sufficient. It does feel like they're indexing quite hard into the Ezra to be able to carry them. And he can definitely slip away from the Nico, from the Sass, from the Trundle. Red is obviously very good on the Wukong if he finds that angle onto the Ezreal. If Syndra finds that ulti, maybe a one fight just off of the one kill. But we'll see how those 5-on-5s can in fact play out.
I think
Uh,
eyes are going to be on the junglers. Braun versus Dota 2's beater. I don't know how they can affect these lanes. Some of them are very volatile, so. But I think if the Grustlers get into the mid game, they stand a fighting chance versus the 6-0 Untitled. Sono, once he gets some of those crescendo stacks, I think that's the passive name. Crescendo might be the ultimate, actually. No, that is the ultimate.
it's like power
Or
chord
whatever the
passive, yeah.
yeah,
Something like
yeah.
that.
Once
Something
you
like that.
get some
Something
stacks
musical.
like that, Sona definitely becomes a really strong character. You have a lot of shielding, healing, and that being said, Untitled, explosive. You can see a character probably just be deleted in an instant. I mean, you have Syndra, Nico, Silas, Wukong. Any of these characters can easily just dive ahead by themselves and get onto these squishy targets like the Sona and the Ezreal. So it will be on the side of Cyrac and Braun to kind of protect their team while simultaneously making space.
Yeah, the Galio is something Cyrac has not been able to get his hands on. It's usually first phase banned away. And now you kind of have some of two modes with it. It is pretty neutralizing into the Silas for the lane. And then in late game, if the divers are pretty far ahead, you can try to peel for your Ezreal. And if your Mbessa is very far ahead, you can hit the Mbessa Galio R combo and just try to nuke someone from orbit. Give Cyrac a few different ways to play the game depending on how that early game with Braun, with Iron Bush plays out, or Dota to his beater plays out.
Have to see. Um, I will say the damage portfolio also kind of going to the side of Cyrac. I mean, the fact that you have 3 mages, the Syndra and Nico, as well as Silas, means you can maybe build an MR item fairly early on and just become really difficult to kill as the Galio. I think Untitled do have a bit of a timer that they have to play around. Make sure that they can get kills going, dragons, early dragon stacking will definitely be in their favor. And I think the Grustlers, the name of the game will just be to survive and maybe hopefully get one of your lanes ahead. For example, if they can get into the Mbessa ahead, that'll be a huge relief in pressure.
I can say, as we load up into the game, investigating ahead is going to be definitely a bit less likely. We see Bread both on one of his powerful picks and also taking the Ignite up there in the top lane as we load in. So, I mean, not only has Bread been an absolute standout thus far this tournament, he's on one of the picks he really likes. He's playing for lane dominance as he kind of has been able to do throughout this tournament.
Yeah, again, it's really gonna be interesting to see how both their two is beater and Brawn Path. Usually, when I think of like Ignite top laners or Ignite solo laners, obviously the laning prowess is in their hands. However, if you get ganked and you die once, especially top lane, it could just be so crippling to your lane state just based on how the minions are. You can lose 1, 2 waves of EXP. Um, so we will see how both these junglers path. Dota 2's beater might elect to go up towards this top lane instead of the bot lane. I think he has a lot of options. And it looks like the Trundle will actually just start on the blue. And unless there's going to be a cross map, I doubt he will be pathing up there. So likely we'll be going towards this Evan to Bank, Easister bot lane, and see if they can make use of this weakness of Sona early game.
Yeah, that 4 ranged champions in the bot lane definitely makes it very volatile. I understand Dota 2 putting that priority there. We do see Braun electing for the Aftershock. A lot of folks, when they're playing the Sejuani into Trundle matchup, they tend to not want those extra resists, so they'll take something like Phase Rush or something cheeky like the Unsealed Spellbook to not give over those stats to Trundle, but does make those earlier ganks still solid, and you can be solidly tanky against all the other melees and threats that Untitled are going to throw at him.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice. Oftentimes the stuff like I forgot what it was called. The shield that comes from UCCing someone. Wow, I have not played the League in forever. That there is resistance can sometimes come after the Trundle ult happens. So mid lane is actually scrapping.
Yeah, the melees are going at it. Galio gets the Winds of War, another passive punch, but no lethal threat from either of them just yet. Top lane also getting a bit scrappy with everyone getting low. Doran shields are purchased up there. They're going to start chugging some potions, and Cyrac getting through the last of his mana, looking to get this wave in.
A flash is available. He can maybe even go for a taunt flash or flash taunt to auto attack. But it's so close. I mean, Silas, if he lands the Kingmaker, will just heal up, and we'll just elect to kind of push in the wave. But heck, he's staying around. He wants more.
Yeah, we do see Bread getting quite aggressive. He has the ward, so he'll probably be fine against a Sejuani gank attempt. Do have both junglers just ending up on their respective crabs. And so they're not going to have any big plays just yet. Do have a
I
scatter.
like what Unicorn Potato and Korean kind of did early on. You can see that they kind of just stacked the wave, actually.
Yeah, they're just going to go for a fight here as Korean's layering the auto attacks and able to get some nice damage onto Easy Hister, rocking that lethal tempo choice on the Ezreal. So even though they knew their jungler was topside, they still play aggressive for the trade.
Word in the pixel. But as I was gonna say, I think they had a really smart choice. Or level 1, level 2, they hard shoved the wave, and then on the third bounce, they made
Oh,
the
wait, we
wave
have
stack and go
Ignite
back
up
to
in the
them.
top lane. Bread is looking to do what he's done so often and lock up a solo kill for first blood. Meanwhile, MV TP's back into mid lane, takes a very rough trade for being the second one to TP, but still, good start for Untitled.
And I'm used to the camera panning top lane and seeing Ornn versus Sion, but in this matchup, I mean, there's definitely a lot of kill threat. Red is very yummy. Very nice kill onto the captain of the Grussel. So,
And Dota 2 is even up here to help make sure the wave can get in after Grussel TP's in. After the death, Bread not running TP, running the combat summoner means he's going to need a bit of help just to make sure that this crashes. We'll see Sejuani get some work done on the other side, invading those Raptors. As Grussel's actually going aggressive, and you can call up your jungler to push in the wave. Grussel's just going to take the fight. He finds 1 kill. Bread's going to hit 6 off the wave, but he's running low on mana. He does have a lot of minions to fight with as Grussel's waiting for the cooldowns. Finds a couple more abilities, gets the shield back up, and Grussel brings home 2 kills.
Well, I mean, that's the side effect of not having the TP, but I mean, Grussel just, my god, just one's up 1v2ing as mid lane.
Oh yeah, Cyrac with a taunt gets the Aftershock proc and bangs Envy into the ground for his own solo kill.
Knocks him on the head. And meanwhile, Braun, in the meantime, not having to, assist any lanes, has just been taking the dragon very peacefully. As bot lane, still slowly farming 41 CS to 41 CS. Korean doing a very nice job to kind of surviving in this lane. But yeah, the scope of top lane now has kind of shifted. It seemed as though Bread just had a very solid lead, and if they got that push off with Dota 2's beater coming up there, then he would handily just have a 300 gold lead. But in this case, Grussel outplays it, easily kills a level 4 Trundle. And now the lane is back in his favor, has a pickaxe, 3 long swords, so much AD. And didn't even have to burn the ult.
Yeah, definitely feeling a lot better about that for Grussel, able to very quickly rebound from getting solo killed and picking up 2 kills for yourself. Same can be said for Cyrac, who's able to just keep training aggressively as Unicorn's getting a bit low in the bot side. Nico Clone helping to block some Mystic shots as Crane's looking to go aggressive after they use all their spells.
You can see with Unicorn getting that low, you just imagine 1 level from now when Evan DeBank and Ezister hit level 6. That combo just becomes so much more deadly. It might just even one-shot the Sona. As mid lane, Cyrac, just very strong lead over the side of 4 to Envy.
Well, it's a nice angle onto Easy Hister, but Evan's able to respond with his combo. Now in top side, Braun has worked his way up here, and Bread may just be watching the lane fall apart. He's going to burn a Cyclone and an Ignite and try to playful Trickster his way out of this one, but there is no thinking outside the box, and outside the lane comes Braun to lock up the 4th kill for the Grustlers.
A nice job by Braun. Just comes in, really doesn't have to do that much, just supports the Grussel. And now, more support comes in. Wave is being shoved, but we saw this before.
Subjugate was used. Braun cannot stand in this wave. He's going to have to Permafrost flash away. Dota 2 does not have his flash. Grussel really wants to continue the fight. Smite for a slow, and they're just kiting around the poor troll. He's biding his time, and Grussel's doing the same. Easy Hister, the suspicious minion, makes his way over to lock down the kill, and now Cyrac's Galio ulti is not going to find much value.
Yeah, Ezister kind of just saves the play. Otherwise, Cyrac, was walking up the river, could have just gone for, the power punch into the taunt. So very surprised, this just roams up there, flashes over the wall, and no one could really expect it. And we'll just return back to the bot lane.
Yeah, so twice up in the top lane, we've seen things get a bit hairy after a solo kill where the jungler comes up to push the wave and it doesn't end up the best. But we still have a slight gold lead here for the side of the Grustlers. They've got Eclipse on their Mbessa. She is very strong if they ever want to put priority on those grubs up top. But for now, the jungler's moving bot side, perhaps for that 3rd Scuttle Crab, as it will spawn. Sure. Actually, sorry.
Yeah, and you mentioned some items, but I kind of want to point out, Cyrac also, I like the build, has opted in for the Spectre's Cowl. So recognizing there's 3 AP sources on the side of Untitled, and just with that himself, I think will not be taking that much damage from either the Syndra or the Silas, and any of these like dragon fights.
Yeah. I mean, Galio is one of the few targets that Trundle will actually get to auto-attack throughout the fights and maybe stack up his lethal tempo on. If Dota 2 can find a lead, he can definitely be the one to deal with this Gargoyle. But yeah, a lot of the consistent damage is not really going to do much to him. And the other people would just probably rather flank and hit someone who isn't Galio. So Cyrac definitely should be feeling comfortable about his position in the game. Easy Hister still with that ult off the roam, so they're looking for maybe an opportunity on the bot side.
Yeah, we'll just be worded out with the Pixel Bush. That's the one downside. It's really hard to actually get a kill onto something like the Ezreal, but sees an opportunity
Oh,
mid lane.
yeah, Envy's baiting Cyrac in, has his jungler in tow. The Subjugate is popped, and a nice flash over the Arctic Assault means Cyrac is going to go down. The Sejuani, not enough damage to return the favor. Crescendo now in the bot lane as the flash out from the True Shot Barrage. Evan doesn't have much left in the tank. Easy Hister. Same for the Nico. And actually now shifting forward
Whoa.
into a scatter and Pop Blossom that was waiting for him. And the unleashed power punishes Korean's overconfidence.
Yeah, a bit too aggressive. I mean, both Evan DeBank and his sister still had their CC spells up. The moment he kind of blinks in, it really just spells his own demise as the Pop Blossom comes out, the Scatter of the Week comes out. It will be returned, however. Braun will just sneak this Herald with Russell. So they are getting stuff in return. But with this dragon coming up very shortly, I would imagine both these teams are probably eyeing it. Once again, Untitled, I mean, you have to match the scaling on the side of Curry and Unicorn Potato. Kind of be wary of that. So these dragons are really important for them.
Yeah, Triforce is finished on the Wukong Blackfire on the Syndra. And so there is a decent item advantage in the 4v4 of the bot side. Just kind of to see if the Mbessa is going to be able to get involved. Sejuani does have Heartsteel. Not too useful of an item. Not a big spike for just yet. Grussel does have the push in top. So he will have the option perhaps to TP if the Grusslers want to send everything for the second dragon.
Yeah, I want to see kind of how the mid lane priority works out here. Cyrac has been constantly pushing in for UNV and has been getting some opportunities to maybe leave the lane. So it'd be good, I think, if both Cyrac and Braun are able to walk down and maybe get some vision. Actually go for an engage here.
Yeah, and the ulti with the Galio lockdown, setting up Braun for a nice quick kill. And now that dragon is probably much easier to pick up, even with the bot lane of Untitled trying to move in for some vision. Now more scrapping in top side as Grussel gets the Wukong very low. Braun wants to continue the fight. Easy Hister is now trying to get out, lands a Pop Blossom onto 2 Unicorn with a nice flash. And that should mean the rest of the team can knock down the pesky Chameleon. Cyrac getting his third kill on the Galio. Evan, not much he's going to be able to do against the tanks in response.
Yeah, on both sides, not only do they get a nice team fight for themselves on the bot side, but Grussel himself has been putting the pressure on Bread. Bread channeled the recall for a second.
Yeah, but now he's got ult, now he's got Ignite, and he's going for the all-in. A weird flash, but it works out in the end. Bread is able to find some revenge and something back for the side of Untitled, as now Unleashed Power, and bot side just barely not enough through the Crescendo stun. Oh no, it does end up killing him with the Blackfire. So 2 quick kills in isolation for the side of Untitled to even out what's been happening over the last few minutes. And now we're trading in mid, but once again, Dota 2's beater is around the corner. Cyrac needs him up from his jungler. I mean, the CC's down, so he'll just ult away, safety, make a heroic exit.
Yeah, I like that. The pillar lands and immediately, no hesitation, just gets the ult onto Sejuani. But top lane, I mean, Bread kind of won the fight somehow with 200 HP. I think with the clone, it actually ended up, you know, getting a lot of effective HP, going invisible, as Braun fights Dota 2's beater up here, but... Oh,
yeah, the Blastgun will take them both over. For UNT is here with a stolen Crescendo, but unfortunately, 3 voices are present on the side of the Grussler, so they're able to take that kill. Easiest for Evan, trading it back for some plates on bot side, as Braun will go invade some of these Trundle camps.
Yeah, we've got a chaotic game. I honestly have no clue how this is going to turn out. But so far, 2 dragons to the side of the Grusslers. So they'll be happy about that, and they will have the scaling comp for your Envy takes. The Crescendo just opts in to burn it, maybe opting in for maybe a Galio ult in the future. Jesus.
Yeah, we still see that Braun is going to loop his way around and try to create some action on the top side. There's Permafrost into the public execution, and Bread is taken down for a 3rd time.
Well played. It just looked very simple, right? Grussel grind set, just, you know, full combos, the Wukong. Takes him down to half HP, then Braun comes out of nowhere. So once again, junglers in the top side, they are just matching each other. But Grussel, I mean, can maybe play this out. Wants to go for this plate.
Subjugate is up in a little bit, so Dota 2 will feel better about his dueling chances when that's available. A nice spacing pillar as he's going to try to clear out the rest of the wave. Smite down, but he's getting very low. And I don't know if the tower and those 3 minions are going to end up being worth it. We will have a teleport up from the Wukong to at least protect the last few health on that tower. And now looking for Cyclone, does hit it onto Grussel, so we're just going to keep fighting in topside. Good flash. Is that enough to get away? Nimbus strike. He's going to try to walk through it. The Cyclone doesn't connect, but the bonk does. Good shutdown for the Wukong as now Crescendo hits onto Easy Hister, and he's in a whole lot of trouble. Unicorn able to find that kill, and we're just having actions in all the lanes. Jungler's not even needing to get involved. Evan a bit low on bot side, as Unicorn's going to find another bit of damage, but they're just going to force Evan away, as Dota 2 not going to continue the train and try to fight off this Sejuani just yet.
Oh, a lot of back and forth top lane. It looked as though Grussel, outplays. Dota 2 is beater, gets a solo kill there. Now it's quickly turned around by Bread. Bread actually, I think, even gets his turret for his own. Might be the first turret of the game. So with that shutdown and, the first turret, Blood, I think will be quite happy for himself. I'm actually gonna... What's the gold looking like? Okay, so 300 between the, the two top laners, but you can see both the top laners are just really far ahead beyond the rest of the team. The other standout I see is Evan DeBank with 2-0, 155 CS. Has reached almost a 1k gold lead over the side of Kurian.
And we'll see if they can play around those power points. The Serpent's Fang second for Wukong as he looks to make sure those Sona shields do not thwart his mission of assassinating the Ezreal. Or honestly, whoever. Wukong can do fairly well into the melees in extended fights as well. As meanwhile in the mid lane, we do see a bit more scrapping. There's the taunt into the Braun ulti once again. This time Envy is able to flash and abduct himself to safety.
Yeah, it looks like Braun will just head up towards the Herald with the pressure from the mid lane, as well as Grussel Grind said, being able to push up the top lane, as now collectively as a team, they're just working together, getting this mid lane turret, making sure that Cyrac can kind of leave the lane. And yeah, so far, well played in terms of macro objectives. Grussel Grind set, doing a lot of work for the team.
Yeah, he gets pillared up there. Nice double taunt. They know this house doesn't have flash, but do they want to continue this fight against the Trundle, against the Subjugate? They have Sona here for a bit of defense, but they need to play patient. Braun is not going to join. He's taking the Herald.
Right now, Resistor's in the bot lane, so it is a 4v3 up there. Kurian, however, is under a lot of pressure. One single scout of the week can mean his death. But
Yeah, but now
Cyrac
they've
is
got
here.
reinforcements. Teleport from the Grussel Grind set as Easy History might be caught out at the Pop Blossom trying to get him away, but there is no hope of escape because it's time for a public execution. The Ambessa getting involved finally on other portions of the map and spreading the wealth for maybe a third dragon.
Yeah, I'm surprised how, Evan DeBank and his sister didn't really back off. They saw 3 people walking down. Maybe they thought that they would just start the dragon, but no, they actually went for a quick play in the bot lane. And now, Cyrac will be able to cover the lane here. And I think so far, everyone has been playing well as a team. You see Braun is kind of everywhere on the map that he needs to be. All the objectives taken.
Yeah, Bread wants to go for an all-in on topside, though, to turn that back in Untitled's favor, and he's going to find it. The level lead and the Ignite helping secure. I feel like we've had like 10 solo kills up top, but Bread is right now putting the pressure on that inner tower. Envy there in his back pocket to lay down a stolen execution onto Cyrac, who probably does not want this 1v2 all too much, but he'll be able to walk it off.
He's got a lot of magic resist, but no armor. So when he sees that 2 Triforce champions, obviously not a great matchup for him. We'll just up into the reset and now walk towards the bot lane. So overall, the gold is almost dead even. However, 3 dragons, Herald, going to the side of the Grusslers, are a bit advantaged in this game. So we'll have to see. Untitled, they were 6-0. Obviously, they have a lot up their sleeve, so maybe they can turn this game around and in the mid game kind of swing things.
Yeah, the last game we saw of Untitled, their Nexus was at like 100 HP, and they were able to turn around that game. So as much as we've seen them win lane, win game a whole lot throughout this split, they are more than capable of sinking their boots in and sticking around for some good team fights. At least side lane wise,
I think
it doesn't look like there's much ground to be gained by the Silas, but Wukong and Mbessa surely going to be volatile.
Yeah, my eyes are really on Bread. I think when you look at Untitled, the gold is not exactly evenly spread. Right now, it's basically all on Evan Bank, and Bread is very yummy. Bread obviously has a Cyclone with a Pop Blossom, can make a huge play. So I think once this fourth dragon comes on through in 3 minutes, you'll probably see Bread walk down there, maybe go for a flank angle, and then with the Pop Blossom, try to land um, the ultimates on these crucial carries like either Grussel or Unicorn Potato, any of those easy targets.
For now, they'll be sieging away in mid. Braun is in the wings just to make sure they can clear out vision for his bot lane.
5 people mid lane. The Grustlers are sending everyone here. You see the side lanes, no one's actually pushing them out. Cyrac opts for a bit of a base. I think Grussel grinds it. Wants to be in the area, just make sure that nothing too suspicious is going on until he sees the Wukong in the top lane. It looks like everyone will just be taking a quick reset 2 minutes before the dragon, as both teams are kind of preparing for a fight here.
Yeah. We talked about the scaling on the side of the 9 to 5 Grustlers with the Sona, with the Ezreal. As we get to this dragon fight, do you feel like they're just like, yep, let's just opt for this soul fight. If we get it, we get it. Then we can maybe pretty much win the game from there? Or do you think like they're maybe thinking, let's play it safe. It's just one dragon. We can give it up. We can continue to scale, pick up our gold. As Evan the Bank stepped up too far to pick up his gold in the mid lane, and he will just die. Double ulti onto the backline means a double kill for the Mbessa. Galio's coming in over the top. Red is trying to escape, and he will just do so with the Cyclone. But in a snap, the action takes off, and now the Grustlers are looking at Baron.
Yeah, I guess I don't even have to answer your question. They have a bigger prize on the
The
table.
windup was too long.
with the
That's on
Baron
me. That's on
coming
me.
in Yeah, I think Untitled, they definitely had an even chance going into the dragon fight. Their characters are still stronger at this point in the game. I mean, the Sona only has one item. Ezreal having the 2-item power spike is still strong, but I mean, you land a Scout of the Week, you can easily one-shot someone with the Cyclone. The Baron now being taken and them resetting here, them having additional gold, additional EXP, additional resources. I think they are, without a doubt, favored for this dragon, as they will probably try to close out the game, honestly, at this point. If they take the soul, push in the lanes, it might just be a done deal.
Yeah, and they didn't
So,
even
right
lose any
now,
sums going for that mid play. Evan will have his flash up, so he's not just going to get ulti comboed, as that is the main thing. There will be a bit of time before we get that Galio ult, as Dota 2 is actually flanking around, finds some damage onto Cyrac, but the Galio is very tanky, and Bread maybe not so much. He has to clone back out of there. They're just going to evacuate the Trundle for now. Envy trying to engage on the side up against the Mbessa, but that is not a winning deal. Grussel is not able to kill him off just yet, able to flash in and go on a killing spree. And without the mid laner, this dragon fight just gets a whole lot harder to steal.
the really huge Glacial Prison onto the Silas means that Grossel is able to get that pick, and looks like the side of, I mean, Dota 2's Beater's not even looking to dragon contest. He has no flash. Actually, he does have the flash. But we opted in to go towards the mid lane instead. Pop Blossom.
We're gonna pretend.
I was wondering why the camera
there was no
panned
pop
away.
blossom. There was no pop blossom. There was no flash. Nothing happened. That's why the camera panned away. Look at that. That's a public execution onto Evan the Bank. He's gonna flash, trying to get to safety, and the Tangled Barbs will allow him to do so. True Shot Barrage, though, also not gonna quite find the mark.
Oh, just by the skin of their... Oh. What's going on down here? Red is very yummy versus Cyrac. Cyrac, you know, did eat up the Subjugate last team fight, but Red doesn't have too many options here.
Red, he's going to try to Cyclone his way out of this one. Cyrac sets it up for Braun, as they've done so many times this game. Envy trying to go in on the mid lane. Does burn the Stolen Crescendo, but Galio is there to crash down and peel for the Ezreal if the camera would go up there. Curry and his A-OK. Didn't even have to burn any sums. I don't know if he's burned any since like 8 minutes into the game. The Ezreal has had minimal threat on him. And now that he has 2-item spike, he's able to be pretty strong in these fights. Ocean Soul in tow as well, as they look to siege in the mid lane.
Yeah, Ocean Soul on these two durable champions, Sejuani and Galio, they don't really take damage, as Grussel, you know, just takes 3 turret shots for himself as well, doesn't really mind. And will be with this Baron push, 2 turrets being taken, inhib being taken. nice scout of the week, but it's not gonna do much in the end.
Yeah,
As they're still pushing this.
the siege is going to continue. Here comes a Pop Blossom trying to look for the miracle. Two-man scatter, but only on the front line. They don't really have the damage. Cyrac is standing tall, and Dota 2 is standing in the dirt. Evan gets taken out as we have a public execution in the back line. The Kingslayer is here. 9-5 Grustlers sieging onto the enemy nexus. Untitled will be undefeated. No longer, at least in the games, as it will be 9-5 Grustlers taking game number 1 here in the series.
It's not even that. It's 25 minutes in a victory when they have the better scaling comp. This is impressive, by the way, for a game 1 going into a playoff series. The Grustlers, have really come alive and shown that they are not a team to be trifled with.
Yeah, excellent stuff there from the Grustlers, as I think we saw the Wukong, we saw the Mage Bot, Envy on a playmaker. Well, okay, this is what Untitled has done throughout the split. This is how they take care of business. Definitely not able to find it that time. Top lane, mid lane got super scrappy in the early game. And then we kind of saw why Cyrac has not been allowed to play Galio, because in an instant, they can pull that trigger, bring everyone to a fight, and just snowball the game from there.
No doubt.
We
I
will
think,
take. Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
oh yeah, no, yeah, go for it, go for it.
No, no, no,
We'll,
no.
we'll talk about it
If
later.
you got thoughts, you got thoughts.
Oh yeah, sure. So I think my eyes were really on, 480 Envy and Dota 2's beater for that mid jungle synergy with the Trundle Silas pick. I think Cyrac with the Galio really just nullified kind of any kind of lane that for you to Envy could really have. I was expecting maybe like a Galio ult being stolen, and then that would transition into maybe a top lane play with a Cyclone. But we didn't really see much out of it. So I want to look for game 2, maybe if both of those two can kind of synergize better with each other. And for you to Envy is able to get his matchup that he wants and kind of leave the lane.
Yeah. We will be looking for those in game number 2. We will take a short break before getting on with the series. Stay tuned. Oh shoot, I forgot to. Welcome back, everyone, for game number 2 here between the 9 to 5 Grustlers and Untitled. Our number 8 seed in 9 to 5 able to pull off the upset here in game 1. We'll see if they can finish the job.
Yeah, and it looks like Untitled, having lost the previous game, will opt in to selecting red side for game number 2. The Grustlers on the blue side have chosen, I guess, this is Zinzhao first pick, so prioritizing the jungle. Probably a deny pick also from Dota 2 is Peter. Just want to see what Untitled does. Obviously, coming in from a game 1 loss, not looking great. However, I do want them to still play to their strengths. I think, as you mentioned before, the bank on this mage bot lane and had a lot of success, as well as Brett is very yummy, was very scrappy in the top lane, got a lot of solo kills, back. I want to see more of that action, but just maybe a bit more coordination.
Yeah, and I mean, Bread is at least keeping it on comfort with the Olaf top. We saw the Wukong get some success going, but I think it was the Mbessa that he was going up against that really had that later game influence on the game. So we'll see how Bread can do. It is blind. We'll see if there's anything that Grussel wants to play specifically up into this Olaf that, if we're being honest, he should have known was coming at some point.
Yeah, I think it definitely will. I mean, I can't say it definitely will, but it's very likely going towards Bread. But there is a small chance that the Olaf can go to the jungle as well, as the Jax being an immediate response. So it seems as though the Grustlers are fairly convinced that the Olaf will go to the top lane. And, Jax with the Counter-Strike um, will be able to kind of soak up a lot of those Olaf auto attacks. It's still susceptible early game, but otherwise it's a very good matchup for the Jax.
Yeah. One thing I will say the Olaf will definitely enjoy having is an Enchanter, which he will have with Evan's Mage pool continuing to shine here with the Seraphine down in bot side to pair with the Nautilus. As moving into phase 2, we'll probably see a lot of mid lane bans similar to last game. Cyrac has those assassins in his back pocket of the Fizz and the Akali. We'll see if Untitled want to pay any respect to those.
Yeah, definitely interesting champion pool from both these mid laners. But yeah, what's something you love to see. You see the Seraphine, you probably expect to be support, but no, that's one of Emma DeBank's specialties. Also a lane bully in itself. But Olaf plus Enchanters is a duo as old as time. Means that Brett has a lot of opportunities to kind of go in this game and have a lot of the team behind him to make these plays. Right now, they're still missing a jungler and missing a mid laner. I would not be surprised if they end up taking a jungler on R4, and then at the very end, take their mid lane for you to envy on R5, get a matchup that he's comfortable in. As we saw last game, some struggle there.
Yeah, definitely looking to see if there can be a rebound there in this game number 2. You see those Primo Assassins taken off the board for Cyrac. And if this goes to chalk, 9 to 5 probably just going to ban out the Rise from Envy's pool. Envy, and likely to wait till last pick. They're probably going to try to figure out what they want to play in the jungle role on that 4th pick. There are some nice options that can pair with the Enchanter of Seraphine. Some of them a lot less likely than others. I think Pantheon is one that we're looking for, but hey, it's looking like Olaf is not in the hands of Bread. Or is it? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good old switcheroo. I don't
we can't
think
be
I've
having
heard of
it
Olaf
jungle,
jungle,
surely.
unless it's for you to envy Urgot mid lane.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting. They ended up banning the Fizz and the Akali. Not something I would necessarily expect for, a blind pick in the mid lane, especially Akali into something like the Nautilus, the Olaf. It's not a pick you really want to pick. So I was thinking maybe they blind their mid lane on 4, but Yeah, Urgot being slammed was definitely not something I was expecting. I don't think that's anything that the Grusses were expecting either.
Yeah, we
So we'll
do
have to
have
see what they
confirmation
ran
that
that's
up
out.
against all that dive, they did pick Zaya on their fourth pick. So definitely compare all right with the Lulu and be able to kite back against a lot of these melees. Won't be able to snare the Olaf when he's in Ragnarok, but can still try to buy time with the Feather Storm. And Zyrak is bringing out another one of his pocket picks here with the Echo in the mid lane.
Yeah, it looks like there might have been a mislock. I'm not quite sure what was picked on R4, or sorry, B4. Um, might have been a bit of mistake there.
Apparently
Is there
The
anything?
Urgot at least is not a mistake.
Well, that's interesting. Is there anything inside of the chat that they may have said?
Uh, no. We're gonna round it out with Ari. So 9 to
Okay,
5,
all right.
having the Zaya Lulu bot lane up against Seraphine Nautilus. I'm expecting this to be Bread's Urgot, Dota 2 on the Olaf, and then Envy on the Ari.
Yeah, I think so too. I wonder if the Ari was also kind of just like a placeholder. I'm not quite sure if they really communicated as to what that blue side pick was, so it could just be a placeholder for now. We'll see. But if it is the Ari into the Echo, um, Ari definitely has a lead in the early game. Echo can't exactly in that melee to range matchup do too much. But once the Echo starts getting a few items, has a lot more opportunities to go onto the Ari and kind of do some scrapping.
Yeah.
But just in the early laning phase, I think the minions are just too much.
Echo has been a beneficiary, as have many champs, of Dusk and Dawn, helping him with DPS and consistently dealing damage. It does feel a bit dicey to me if you're diving in to a Seraphine Nautilus, but there is still maybe some side lane strengths of the Echo if he's having to go against the Ari, having to go against the Urgot, now that he has a more consistent damage focused build.
We'll have to see. I think side lanes can either go either way, just based off how the early 10 minutes go. The Jax can just be a complete menace in the side lane. If the Olaf gets behind, then it's a complete disaster for Untitled because that's almost like the star of the show in this game with the Seraphine behind the back. I forgot Olaf is probably jungling. Never mind.
I mean, his point still
We'll
stands. He
see.
needs to get ahead somehow, no matter where he's being
Yeah,
played.
yeah, without a doubt. Um, and I guess unless we still curious what to see what the ADC is on the side of the Grustlers.
It is Zaya. It is
But yeah,
Zaya.
Olaf. It is Zaya. Okay, sounds good. I think Zaya is a very smart choice. I think gets you a bit more liberty to play away from the Olaf and something like the Ari. But that lane phase is probably going to be awful, right? The Zaya, very short range, can't exactly play into the Seraphine very nicely. So we'll probably just be looking to survive, making sure that they can get some farm, most of all. I think it's hard for the Seraphine, Evan DeBank, to ever go for a solo kill onto the Zaya, but that means that they have some scaling with the ADC. So I think once again, Untitled, has to keep the pace up. But they're all off in the jungle just to make sure that they get some early dragons, and then from there, scale up and reach the mid game where they can start to get these aggressive fights. Otherwise, I think the side of the Grustlers still favor towards the late game. You have a late game Echo, late game Jax, late game ADC. Um, so we'll have to see how this game goes differently. And as we approach into the game, it looks like it will be the Olaf in the jungle. Bread will be taking the Urgot in the top lane. I feel like that should be self-explanatory, but there's always a chance. There's always a chance that Bread, could somehow be on the Olaf, and then maybe Dota 2 is beater opts in for like an Urgot jungle. I don't know. Maybe that's viable.
Maybe. But we are on to the
Um,
Rift for
and
game
otherwise,
number
fairly
2.
standard from everyone. Both solo laners taking TP, no ignites. Nothing too crazy on either end.
Yeah. No
This
spicy
game,
combat sums this time
we'll have
around.
to see. Once again, junglers, very important for this early lane priority on both sides. This Jax into Urgot matchup, believe, is actually Urgot favored early on.
Yeah. Surely we're not pressing the
So in terms
Olaf
of
down
lane
into
priority,
jungle
I
to
think
play a bad
Untitled
matchup,
might
so.
actually have 3 winning lanes.
Yeah, we'll see if the side of the Grusslers can complete the upset as the 8th seed here against, again, one of Bread's pocket pet favorite champions. We do see an early invade from the Shinzao. They should have seen him move based on the Raptor ward that he wasn't walking down to red. So this should be known by Dota to his beater, as they're going to hopefully opt just for that split map with the Olaf sticking to the top side.
I think that's a smart choice. Also, Ship, I'm terribly sorry. I think I cut off my own volume audio somehow, so if you were talking, I'm very sorry. Yeah, I think with the Xin Zhao being able to take both the blue and the Gromp, as I say that, bot lane's getting spicy,
Yeah, we
but
get a bit of
takes both the
scrapping,
blue and the
but
Gromp, I believe, unnoticed as go to his beater. He's not crossing sides, he's not going to the enemy blue buff. So I think once he sees this bot side quadrant being gone, I think there'll be a lot of question marks there.
yeah, I mean,
The only really option from there is kind of just going bot lane or going for a gank.
I suppose it's possible Shinzao still walk down towards red and then walk to the enemy blue. I would not bet on it, but it is possible that he deceived the ward in that case, and there was no information for Untitled to go off of. It does make for a pretty sad Olaf. He may just look to try to fight out the Shinzao and pick up whatever options he can. I think Braun's doing the correct thing of not completely full clearing. He'll leave up the Krugs and go to topside. But if you're Courier and Unicorn, you should know this is the only play, like you said, that Dota 2 has. And they are not retreating. They're going to give this over as these hits are going to flash in, hits the dredge line. Polymorph to maybe buy some time Courier with a flash, but there's no feathers on the ground. And Dota 2 is putting down the axes for first blood.
Yeah, I'm afraid there was no vision dropped. The Pixel Bush wasn't warded, and the Tri Bush wasn't warded, so they don't actually see Dotua's beater on the Olaf actually coming down to the bot lane. And with their wave state, it was in a bit of a pickle. One thing I did want to mention is Grossel Grindset had a very nice ward. He put it onto his own blue buff, so he would be able to see if Dotua's beater looped around and goes for it. So maybe they thought that Dotua's beater would split sides and actually go to the top side. Might explain why the bot lane was playing so aggressively, but yeah, a bit too far forward with that vision means that they will uh, lose that first blood.
And it puts Dota 2 definitely back in the game despite losing out in some of those early camps. Does mean that we'll just get a regular trade of those first early scuttles and both junglers restarting the clears with the Raptors. The downside, I suppose, for Braun in this case now is that his camps are level 1, at least for the Wolves, Gromp, and Krugs, whereas Dota 2 will have all level 2 camps as top lane's getting a bit feisty. Grussel's trying to continue to trade out against Bread, who's running low on mana. Counter-Strike is going to come up, force the flash away, but that means he has to use a flash in retreat.
It's almost like daring Brett is very yummy to walk forward. I mean, with the Counter-Strike available, was trying to turn it, but Brett was able to bait it out. And then with the flash backwards, kind of means that Grussel is able to live. Was opting for that reset as bot lane. Another hook comes in through. With the wave being so massive, Korean is able to just walk forward, press the advantage, and go for a little trade of himself. As the junglers have reset as well.
Seraphine not going to want to opt into a lot of those extended angles as another hook, though, does come down and Unicorn has to flash away. So good advantages being built by Easy Hister and Evan the Bank in this lane thus far. And Olaf is down here once again. So Kurian with no flash is just going to be hooked up. Braun was trying to get down to cover, but he is a tad too late. Kurian will go down and a second kill for the Olaf as Bread has to retreat in top lane.
And this is what you want to see from the Olaf. Dota 2 is beater 2-0 already, has the call fields. Despite that level 1 invade, is quite doing well for himself. I want to say it looked as though Kurian wanted to go for a quick ward in the bush, but the moment Easister landed that hook onto Unicorn, I think Kurian walked back, did not put ward down, and so when Dota 2's beater walked down, there was no vision, Means it's a very easy gank from there. As Bread TP's back in the top lane and immediately,
Yeah,
wow.
the fear beyond death does not hit its mark. Not much to fear for Russell, so he'll be fine on the Jax. Both top laners utilizing their TP, and now Braun is up here because the wave is pushing towards the Jax.
I'll have to see if they can make a play here. No flashes available on either top laners, so Bread being very respectful. Actually, we'll just be playing back. Have the wave push back into him. Meanwhile, though, to his beater, eyeing this dragon, we'll start it up. And with Isister in the bank behind him, we'll likely just be able to take this very easily.
That anchor certainly could have been a death sentence with Olaf being right there and no flash on Unicorn Potato, but they will take the dragon in lieu of a kill. So Olaf definitely doing a fair job thus far, staying ahead of the curve as he needs to do. Braun going to apply some pressure to topside, steal away some camps in return.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird cycle, right? The buffs are respawning on both sides of Dota 2's beater's jungle. So he's walking down here taking the Raptors, but no red buff actually to be had, so we'll not be able to stay all away and split the map in this case.
Meanwhile, Dota 2 is getting engaged on by Cyrac. So Echo does have the information of where the Olaf is, going to scare him away. As Russell's taking a lot of damage trying to get this wave in, I don't think a dive is really in the best of interest for Braun. He also does not quite take away the enemy red, so he'll just retreat, pick up some more items there.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious why he didn't take the red. It looked like it was free for the taking, considering that Cyrac was just fighting Dota 2, and they knew where Dota 2 as well was. Maybe there's a chance that for you to Envy could walk up to him and Braun maybe had to back away. But overall, both junglers still fairly even in CS. The 2 kills on Dota 2's beater means that he has a nice lead. And maybe once this second dragon spawns, we'll have to see. Maybe Dota 2's beater will have a full complete item and might have an advantage over Braun.
As much as the Shin Zhao wants to scrap and get in there with his Conqueror, Olaf is maybe one of the few champions that want to do it more. He's certainly going to look to fight over some of these early objectives, but we do have Cyrac making his way topside. Bread's flash still down as the Counter-Strike stun is going to connect. A flash in from Cyrac as he's trying to get the damage down, and they will do it in time. So nice kill onto Bread.
Yeah, really well played there. It means that Cyrac can actually is returning back to the mid lane. I don't think he actually loses a single minion. Actually, the wave does crash.
Oh, and now an
however.
aggressive Featherstorm from Curry, and as he
Oh.
flashes into the bush, does have the wild growth appeal, but Easy Hister also has his Seraphine double encore as Currian is looking to stop the show, gets the root caller, and is able to find the kill onto Easy Hister. Now Evan the Bank stranded in the alcove, but the junglers are on their way. Dota 2 will sink Currian with an undertow and go on a killing spree. Braun not going to be able to do the same.
Overall, 1-for-1. A bit of a funny mishap there. I think Kurian thought that Isister flashed directly up into the bush, so ended up flashing up there himself, but brags to himself, there's no Nautilus there. The Nautilus is down in the alcove. Cyrac, though.
Yeah, Cyrac
Getting
was
some
able
nice
to blink
damage, Spirit
over
Rush
both
available.
spells, so he's going to want to continue this. Gets the Spirit Rush out of Envy.
Yeah, nicely done there. Still has 2 charges here. Isister is behind him. Maybe he can actually go for a bit of a play forward, but we'll be playing reserved. Cyrac will just be pushing in the wave. And overall, still a fairly even game. This top lane, Grussel getting that kill is very pivotal. Once he gets that Triforce, he's going to be able to start turning around the lane. Bot lane, however, Evan the Bank and Isister are still going strong. Kurian being able to salvage 1 kill is quite nice. But really, Dota 2's beater is kind of the star of the show inside of this game right now. He will just be controlling any team fight that happens around him.
Yeah. For now, it is a contest over Grubs. Unicorn Potato did move all the way up to make sure that her jungler and mid laner are in position to contest for that one. Curran just going to have to soak up the wave at his tower. But there will be 3 Grubs to the side of the Grustlers.
Yeah, so one thing that I noticed last game is Untitled, had very strong lanes. Evan the Bank and Isister got solid leads. Bread got a solid lead. Everything was happening individually. But when it came to the actual team play, it seemed as though Untitled Oh,
Oh, a nice burst combo coming out with the Nautilus. Evan the Bank didn't quite have the encore, so Unicorn able to get out of the CC chain and flash to safety.
yeah. Speaking of individual leads, as they burn all of Unicorn's resources. But yeah, I think the team play was really lacking. We didn't really see any communication between members.
Was the flash over, but he did not dodge the harpoon. Red is going to lock down a solo kill up there for himself. Cyrac is on his way up, but I'm not sure how much he's going to be able to do against an Urgot with flash.
All right, screw it. No team play needed. We're just gonna go for solo kills on both the bot lane and the top lane. As Bread, I mean, despite going 0-1 in that lane when Cyrac walked over, I think landing the Fear Beyond Death, obviously now is kind of doing quite well for himself as well. And what I'm seeing now is for you to Envy kind of working with Dota to his beater, walks down here, clears the vision, making sure that team can get dragons, and now will probably secure a second dragon for themselves, as there's not really anyone here to stop it.
Yeah, the strong wave clear of the Seraph and all the pressure Evan and Easiester have been able to put in the bot lane. Paying off as they will move towards that second dragon and get
Yeah,
that early lead where, I mean, in the last game, we talked about how they need to get off the races and maybe again here in game two. At least this time, they've got those objectives in their back pocket after not getting a single dragon in game number one.
yeah, without a doubt. We're seeing a much different Untitled than that game one. Just not only in terms of individual play, but also in terms of team play. Everyone's kind of working well together and getting these objectives. Russell could be getting a solo kill here.
Yeah, there's no ult on Bread, and oh, the last whack of the lantern. Not quite enough. Bread will stand strong, be able to take his base. Everyone is up on the top side, though, as Braun goes over the wall, just meets an Olaf and an anchor. I don't think that's what Braun was looking for at all. He's going to try to flash back to safety, but the depth charge is in on top of him, so is the Olaf. Cyrac is at least there to shut him down, as everyone wanted to reach the top laners, but they just end up killing each other. And Bread with a nice flash and a disdain for the Jax. Cyrac, though, was able to get in and finish the job. Has the Chrono Break if needed. Doesn't even need to burn it. But the blade's still going. As Easter loops around the corner. Parallel Convergence is there for a shield, but Envy should be there with enough damage. Chrono Break for some HP, but Envy is now on the board.
It all starts from top lane being as scrappy as it is. That's something that doesn't change in this game number two. As it almost seems as though the entire team from both sides kind of got pulled over. Trading kills. Cyrac getting 2 kills for himself. They're very, very nice as Bread disconnects. Um, Probably not planned on their side. But a really nice solo kill from Bread as well. I think Russell actually ended up baiting out the Fear Beyond Death. But Bread, you know, kind of just sumo slams the Jax, takes him over his head, and puts him in the dirt. As Russell started off 1-0, now 1-2. We'll be trying to still work for that Triforce.
Yeah, he has been able to at least go even. You know, we've seen Bread on the Urgot kind of just take over a lot of those early lanes, especially given that they moved the Olaf down into jungle to have this matchup. So I think you're still fine as the Jack's going even, trying to play for that scaling. But with Black Cleaver done on Urgot, he can definitely be a pain until Jax gets that Triforce himself. Hopefully, Bread can reconnect when possible.
Yeah, I think in that last fight too, you kind of see the difference between the junglers with their current gold lead. Once Braun got over that wall, it almost was just like a death sentence. Dota to his beater just started wailing on him. Didn't really help that his sister was also in the background right there. Um, but there was a chance that Dota to his beater, if Cyrac wasn't there to stop him, would just keep on pressing forward. We're
All right.
getting
Oh,
information that the apartment internet was out. That's that's not good.
that is not good, and the Starbucks are closed. Not sure. I mean, probably have to bring in some kind of rule book here, but hopefully, this doesn't last too long, and the internet providers bless us and bless Bread as we wait to see what can happen here.
Yeah, perhaps if we get to go to a small break until Red is able to get his internet all fixed.
A summoner has reconnected.
All right. Thankfully, Bread's inner. Oh. All right. Thankfully, Bread's internet service provider. Oh my god, I keep messing it up. Thankfully, Bread's internet service provider has blessed us, and he is able to return.
Yeah, and we're going back into the action. Not much quite happening yet. Dragon spawning in 3 minutes, so neither team will really be eyeing that, but the lanes are still being aggressive as Cyrac going in quite aggressive 1v2. We'll
Hey,
have his bot lane behind him now.
as we crest the 14-minute mark, we'll see the bot laners come up to the mid lane. As, yeah, likely not too much action until that third dragon comes up. We will see Bread continue to kind of get the better of this Jax in the top lane. And, I mean, I definitely on the side of Untitled, a more measured game this time, as we have an engage onto Envy. Does have the Spirit Rush to get away. Cyrac trying to get in there with a phase dive, but not much damage to follow through after the Ahri dashes away.
Yeah, I really like what they're doing here, though. Braun and Cyrac working as a duo. They're making sure that they can maybe get a pick onto For You to Envy. Burn some critical cooldowns, and now they can get chip damage onto the turret. As Dota 2 is beater, will respond with the Herald. So both sides kind of trading objectives, getting leads for themselves. And we'll have to see For You to Envy if he's able to return into this lane. Can just be Dovin.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to prioritize the tower. So they'll take that down for first brick. But Herald traded, like you said, to Dota to his beater. Now, maybe some pressure onto Grussel, but that wave is pretty thin, so he should be fine.
Yeah, a lot of camps still up on both sides, so both junglers will probably just be going, returning back and taking some camps for themselves. Red, however, will be pushing further into this top tier too. They don't exactly know where Dota 2's beater is, so this TP is a bit dangerous. You can notice that Russell opts to walk instead. There could just be an Olaf. Oh, what the?
Yeah, we had Braun trying to go in once again. Now TP down from the Urgot. Lulu is here to provide some backup and a polymorph, but it's Braun taking the brunt of the damage. Now trying to get involved is Grussel on the Jax. They CC up Bread. There's no flash available, and that is not the TP you're looking for, but that is the anchor that the Nautilus is looking for. The Root Caller not quite there from Kurian as he gets taken down. Both teams going to be missing a member as they look to position for this dragon.
Yeah, I wonder what the comms were like there. Bread kind of just TPs in, but he TPs into a 2v3. Grussel even further TPs down there, makes it a 2v4. Play will be kind of salvaged because Evan DeBank lands that kill onto Kurian in the mid lane. Kurian forced to burn all his summoners and the ultimate right before this dragon. Does not spell good times. That being said, I mean, the Grusslers have the vision priority here. They entered in the mid lane earlier, so they do have priority on this dragon. We'll see how the side of Untitled responds as the dragon has started up.
They're TPing in Envy. He still does not have a Spirit Rush available to him, as it is going to be Dota 2 leading the charge in. Potato and Cyrac on the side. There's the hook onto the Echo. He's going to be stunned. He doesn't have a chance to ult. That's going to be the mid laner down, but Dragon is secured. Unicorn gets slain by the axes of Dota 2. And so even though it's Dragon to the side of the Grusslers, they lose 2 kills.
Wow. The CC chain lasted long enough that the Chrono Shift was not able to even be popped. He can't even, just got 100 to 0 essentially. And now with that, that is very yummy. He's able to push in the bot lane, with the Herald mid lane, so potentially 2 turrets now being taken for that one single dragon. They're going for more. This tier 2 turret is also up for the taking.
A lot of poke onto Curry in there as well to help them out. And we see the value of those 2 early dragons. You know, the side of the Grusslers felt like they were forced to get in and prevent them from getting a third. They're now fighting them when the Olaf is strong, when the Urgot is strong, when the Seraphine has 2 items. And they're able to take a nice fight and transition it into the mid lane and continue to get vision throughout the enemy jungle and get a 4K gold lead.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see. The Olaf is strong. The Seraphine is right there behind, supporting, and Red still in the side lane, doing well, making sure that this Jax is still beat down, can't leave the lane. And even though for DMV wasn't able to use the Spirit Rush forward, go for any crazy plays, landed the charm onto Cyrac and ensured the plays still happen. Cyrac, Braun up here. They do recover a tier 1 turret for themselves. As the map is now split wide open, all these turrets are falling. And we have reached the mid game.
Yeah, we'll see Evan the Bank and Easy Hister continue to get pressure in that mid lane, just with the mage wave clear coming in. Kurian is a player that has been a DMV champion before, has made many of finals as well, was an MVP candidate once upon a time, but feels pretty removed from that. And I feel like every time I go on a player monologue, we get action. So Grussel is now getting engaged on. Nice kill there for Bread, and now they're going to continue to play as Kurian needs to go up into the air with the Featherstorm. Does have a wall to hug to prevent an anchor, but a nice pick for the side of Untitled. Though Cyrac maybe wants to continue. I don't think he's going to find much to wind back there, as Braun's now going to get hooked in. They want to fight the 4v3. Red now is going to be caught and taken down. Unicorn Potato is playing frontline Lulu, but quickly retreats as the Olaf shows his face.
Yeah, it was almost a 4v4, but Dota 2 is beater. Was just overside of the wall. So wasn't actually able to impact the team there. As
the burst with the Echo Q and the flash to seal the shutdown. Nicely done by Cyrac.
Yeah, that's also 643 gold, as I saw the number going to the side of the Echo, and that's one character you for sure do not want to get ahead if you're Untitled. And Cyrac with 9 and 9.1k gold will be the gold leader inside of the match, but the rest of the team is really far behind. You see the Jax, 1k gold behind the Urgot. The jungler, obviously, also 1.5k gold behind Dota 2's beater. And everyone besides Cyrac is sort of struggling, so it really is sort of on him to kind of make sure his team can kind of sit back and scale. There's only 2 dragons on the side of Untitled, so you do have options to kind of play out the rest of the game and wait your Zyra, wait till she has 2, 3 items, wait till the Jax has 2 and 3 items before you go for some of these team fights.
It can definitely be scary a minute from now walking into that dragon against a Sterix ready Urgot, against that 2-item Olaf that's empowered by all the Seraphine heals, as she's able to get to her items faster, just being gold ahead and being support items. So this third dragon, from my perspective at least, looks very tricky for the side of 9 to 5.
So naturally the question is, what does the side of the Grusslers do if not the dragon? Well, you have a couple of different options. You can get a lot of vision to the top side, go for some camps up there. This mid lane tier 1 turret is also potentially available to the taking. If they're able to get one wave in there while the dragon is being taken, can opt in for it. But looks like 4 people are Veer.
A
The fight starts out.
range anchor from Easy Hister, and Unicorn Potato is sunk. Now here comes the Olaf with the Ragnarok, and there's no stopping Dota 2 this time. It's going to be another 2 kills, and probably a Dragon secures. Envy wants to even look for more, but not going to be able to dash enough.
Yeah, you can see how easily Untitled is able to land some of these CC chain combos, and you can't really get away. Once the hook lands, once the charm lands, you're kind of just dead. And with that, I don't think the side of the Grusslers can really respond to any play, as we mentioned before, and now Grussel is going for this top tier 2 turret, but if we had 2 or 3 more people around him, I think this would be gone, but now it will just be the dragon taken for free. No response.
Yeah, we do have Kurian and Cyrac at least hovering that side of the map, making sure that there's no cheeky Baron plays and no immediate rush from Easy Hister to get wards down there. But still, we're seeing a much better Untitled than we did in game number 1. They've been playing around their objectives. Easy Hister's been able to find some critical hooks to be able to pick people off in these fights. An influence that wasn't really able to have on the Nico, who was always pop blossoming defensively in game number 1.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think some things that you sometimes see is when an undefeated team, for reference, Untitled, in their 6-0 series wins, they have not lost a single game. So they were 2-0 across all the standings. In this game, once you get that first loss, some teams actually kind of just break down. You know, they become demotivated or something happens or maybe someone tilts and some signs of the team start showing up that you wouldn't really see before. And this game number 2, they are fighting back strong. They are well ahead in this game. 4K gold lead, 3 dragons to their name. They're bouncing back really well.
And they've certainly opened it up behind some of their star players, right? We saw Dota 2 get super involved early on the Olaf. We saw Bread not deterred by what happened in game number 1, continuing to scrap in a matchup that he is comfortable in with the Urgot and build their leads up on the top side. As Grussel, I mean, the Jax does at least have 2 items now, but it is going to take a while before he and the Xayah can really sink their teeth into some of these fights. As Bread is just going to take the tower in the face of both solo laners, but there are reinforcements on the way, so Bread is very likely to drop here, polymorph, and that is going to be an easy kill. Meanwhile, in mid, Braun able to soak up the initial Nautilus. Has a 3 Talon strike prep, but can't get on top of Evan the Bank. They're going to just kite down as TPs are used from both sides. And Envy's going to find the charm, but not a whole lot of damage. Now as into the backline goes Grussel with the counter-strike, but the Encore is massive onto 3, and Olaf is trying to rip them apart. He's going to find 1, but the Nautilus falls in return. It's going to be 9-5 trying to stay on the front foot, but there are no more kills to be found.
Yeah, shutdown once again, somehow on the Nautilus of all things, going to the side of Cyrac, so more kills going over to him.
Oh, a beautiful charm from Envy, forcing Kurian into the Featherstorm, but there is no safe place for that bird. Now when Undertow hits, Unicorn slowed up, taken down, and in the after fight, it's Untitled finding more.
Yeah, and the Baron is up here for the taking. I mean, Bread died in the top lane at the tier 2 quite a while back, so has the TP if needed. Will just opt into matching Grussel. Cyrac, I don't know if there's really much you can do. You have the Chrono Break, but you almost have no mana left. So it will just be the mid lane tier 1 turret, and the Untitled will just gradually take this Baron. It'll take a bit. You only have a Seraphine as your damage source with the Olaf, but 5 Baron buffs now on board. Dragon spawning in a minute 30. Untitled is looking strong as, similar to last game, this soul can just be the breaking point for the game.
Yeah, all that healing that you get from the soul on top of the Seraphine, on top of Olaf's lifesteal, definitely very tricky to deal with. And saw great play from Envy out in the mid lane. It has been a quiet series for the superstar mid laner. Hasn't been too involved in all the scrapping that's been happening in the other lanes here in game number 2, but finds that good angle with the RE on to Kurian and able to help them easily take the fight, force them out, and get more kills. Dragon in 50, and we do see the Grussers entering through bot.
Yeah, I like what they're doing here. They pushed out the bot lane, got priority out. Now they can maybe get a pick onto Bread right before the Dragon. But they don't have info on the Olaf, so they can't go and press forward. As now, the Sisters walking down the river, just almost no hesitation. Wow.
Yeah, curves the hook in onto the Lulu, and Unicorn Potato could be in trouble. Getting very low as Olaf's just trying to run her down and goes unstoppable. Meanwhile, the other side of the fight, it's Grussel trying to pop off with the Grandmaster's Might. Encore across the team, only hits onto 1, but Braun is still going to be taken out all the same, and Kurian can't stay safe for long. It is a easy fight for Untitled, as now Cyrac trying to pressure back, gets a massive convergence, but he is still gonna drop 11 kills for this Olaf. And Soul, I mean, maybe they can take the game as they're sending a bunch of folks mid.
Yeah, I like what the Grustlers were doing. They had that desperation play. They played through the bot lane to maybe get a quick pick or maybe go for a quick flank angle, but I mean, once Untitled snuffed it out, they just confidently walked down. Azister walked through the bushes blindly, didn't even have to ward them, and lived on, I want to say, like 5% HP. Comes out of the fight with 90%. I don't know how. Maybe it's the Seraphine healing. Uh,
It is going to
but
be a
looks
lot
like
of ruin
Grustlers want
there.
more.
As Bread is slowed up, they have Grussel flanking, Charm evaded, and Bread should be the lone casualty at the end of the day. They're going to give it to Grussel, so the Jack's going to slowly build his way back up into the game, but he is down, and his team is down nearly 10k at this point.
Yeah, I think they're in full defense mode here. They're looking for any pick that they can get. And at this point, I mean, the Baron will be wearing off in maybe a minute or so. Untitled can't really play without the Urgot on the map, so they will just be looking to take these waves, probably stabilize and make sure that they can get some vision down. As we see Scuttle being taken.
Oh, that anchor clanked the wall, but the depth charge is going to burn the flash. Meanwhile, Charm goes wide in the bot line, but Grussel's still not looking great in the HP department. As Spirit Rush to continue the chase, and Envy is now 4 kills up here on the Fox, and it's not getting better for the side of the Grustlers.
Yeah, that puts so much pressure on the map. That means that they can now just push in through the bot lane, look for this inhib, look for the inhib in the mid lane as well, potentially, once they push that out. As Cyrac, holy moly. Just 2 hits that turret, but we'll probably have to back off here as Bread will respond to him in the top lane. And right now, Russell, still 25 seconds.
Oh,
Cyrac's
a
TPing mid, actually.
nice base boost there from Evan. The bank forcing out the Crescent Guard from Braun. Now just trying to retreat. The Xayah not able to hit as Cyrac enters the backline. Nice dodge with the ulti, but his team is getting run down by the Viking. There's the fear beyond death to assassinate Braun, and now Curran is caught out. Taken down, no chance of the Enchanter saving him. It is 5v2 in the base as Untitled are looking for game number 2.
Yeah, I think they will get it. I mean, no chrono shift. It means that the Echo can't really get in there as Cyrac is still just channeling his recall. 1 turret falling, 2nd turret likely going soon. Dota to his beat are still full HP. There's really not much you can do.
Yeah, it's going to be a parallel convergence attempt from Cyrac on the backside as Grussel is staying alive for a deceptively long time because the Olaf was busy hitting the Nexus. He'll finally get involved. They take out the Jax, and that will be Untitled evening up the series, not deterred by game number 1 to get us to a game number 3.
Yeah, well played from Untitled. I think they've really kind of leaned into their individual prowess. I mean, bot lane getting solid leads for themselves. Top lane, despite the gank from Cyrac, Bread still landing a solo kill for himself as well. And I think overall the map just felt more freed up. Once you have those 3 winning lanes, you really can do whatever you want on the map. And Olaf, Dota to his beater, obviously had a stunning performance in this game number 2. I believe 12 kills, 1 death. Um, really was just a powerhouse. Any team fight that was around him was just dead, was done in his own hands. And, yeah, Untitled. Bouncing back really strong after that game 1 loss.
Good to see from them getting back to a bit of form, pushing us to a 3rd game. Take a short break as the team's ready up for that deciding game. All right, everybody. It's time for game number 3 of our first quarterfinals. 9-5 Grustlers trying to pull off the upset against Untitled as we are right into draft.
Yeah, and as we go into game 3 of draft, obviously with Fearless, the champion pools become a bit more reduced. And my eyes are really on Cyrac. I think this Echo Galio has sort of kind of been his staple. Those are the champions I know him the most for. And then bot lane, I was gonna say Evan DeBank has to pull through some of these different mage picks, but we see Mel and Hui also being banned, mostly targeting him. And so in this case, I think the brand, typically a jungler or maybe a support, um, I think we'll actually be going over to Evan DeBank. Evan DeBank has some games in solo queue on this character. Uh, so just immediate slam in the bot lane. Not surprising, and the Grustler is taking that rise. I think Cyrac, uh, very comfortable on that pick as well. So
Yeah, they
very
put
quick draft overall.
I put a lot of priority on that rise, which I was a bit surprised of. I think when you look at how Envy and Cyrac have compared, Cyrac has played a lot of champions so far. He's very willing to go down into the pool and pick something weird like the Fizz. But this time they're saying, nope, we're going to prioritize the Primo Mage, take away a pick that Envy has been super good on, and then they'll pick up Jarvan and Soraka as well for phase 1.
Yeah, bit of an interesting, duo. Normally, I don't see Jarvan and Soraka kind of in the same sentence, but that Jarvan makes a lot of sense, right? You see the brand, you see the Nami. Both of them don't exactly have that much of an escape. So, with the Rise together, I think this duo, this Jarvan Rise duo, can actually make a pretty big impact in the bot lane. Orianna now being locked in, kind of like a staple mid lane in the side of this meta. But once again, another target that J4 with the Cataclysm can really go for. So I think,
Yeah, I did feel like the Jarvan early pick was something where they're thinking, hey, this maybe scares away the last Primo Mage in the Orianna as something she doesn't want to play into. And if he doesn't care, he's going to make sure that he has the Lady of Clockwork in the mid lane. A lot of her good partners are off the board, though, with no Wukong, no Jarvan. Kind of past the days of Orianna Hecarim, Orianna Udyr. So we'll see what 9-5 wants to pinch down in the jungle position for phase 2 of bans.
yeah, and for here, as we have a bit of a guest joining in alongside us. We've got Prone from the 480C players, the captain of
Hello,
the team.
I've made it just in time. Hello.
And we're here for game number 3. What a banger of a series. And this is the first time that the Untitled team kind of has actually endured a loss. So 5 Grustlers, sorry, not what am I saying, 9-5 Grustlers. Grustler grind set. And the Grustlers, making a lot of work for themselves, really pushing Untitled to the brink. As now the bans are coming in through Jay, Scion, Vi, a lot of these bans targeting the jungle. Coming in out as Brett still has his pick available. I'm always curious what he plans out because it's always spicy. I mean, we've had Urgai and Olaf being flexed between them. We've also had game 1, what was it? Oh, the Wukong top lane, how could I forget?
Yeah,
So,
I saw Olaf. I saw the last few minutes of last game, and I saw Olaf jungle, so I knew there was gonna be some cooking going on in the series, and I'm not disappointed so far.
Yeah, it's interesting though. Normally they pick their flex in like the first couple of spots. In this case, the Zehen probably would be going over towards Bread. I mean, I say that, but who knows? Maybe it's going to be in the jungle. You never know with this team.
Oh no.
I think
Yeah.
it makes sense. They really need like this heavy AD bruiser in the top side once they've locked in the brand, the Orianna. I guess what would you expect from the Grustlers? Like, what would you close out this comp with?
Well, if this is, I feel like Russell would call this Zahen on the top lane. And this is something he would really punish really hard. But Jinx is not something I would have chosen. Jinx is not really super great into these mages, and Bran can just make life hell in the bot lane for this Jinx. And Cassante, is also not something I would have expected, but wouldn't put it past Russell. I feel like this meta right now in top lane is just so much about being a frontliner and being a strong weak side champ. And we see the Scion ban, so I
That's not a weak
completely
side, champ.
cursed the hell out of that one.
Yeah, he kind of let you on there. He held that till the last second. Yeah, I mean the Akali. I don't know how that matchup goes. I've never played some AOE ability, so definitely interesting. But really, kind of putting it in his own hands. Doesn't feel like the Cassante has enough leverage and enough agency for himself. Akali, I mean, really, if you get ahead on it, we can really take over a game. Okay, never mind. It's not Zen jungle or top lane, is it?
Yeah, I mean, Zehen did get some jungle buffs recently, so it will be Dota 2 piloting that pick. And then the Yorick instead for Bread up against. Technically, it could be either the Rise or the Akali. I think we expect Akali to be the more maybe traditional top laner, but it is a pick that Cyrac is very comfortable on. Maybe they're even switching which roles they go in game, but we'll see how it all pans out.
Yorick Akali top lane. Yeah, this is something I've been expecting to see from Russell for a while now. This Akali champion has just benefited so hugely from this season's changes, with the Hextech Gunblade being re-added back into the game, and on top of that, the level cap being increased for Akali means she can be a bruiser and an assassin at the same time. So this Nami Oriana brand core are gonna have to be running for their lives later in the game, and I really don't know again how this top lane matchup goes, but Red's Yorick, it kind of ran circles around the enemy team the last time it was picked, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think the biggest cooldown is that York E. If he's able to attack Akali with it, then really gets chased down by ghouls. But the one interesting thing about this matchup is the Akali Shroud means that both the ghouls and the Maiden can't really see. They also lose vision. So, for example, if Akali is hit and is tagged, she can actually put the Shroud down and walk away. And the ghouls will kind of just stand still. They're kind of like, huh? What happened? Must have been the wind. And then and then until she reveals herself, not much really happens. So those two cooldowns are going to be really pivotal, both the Shroud as well as the Yorick E, in terms of kind of that trade pattern. It'll be really weird to see, but should be exciting.
Yeah, I am a bit curious to see how exactly the Akali plays the fight, because it feels like when you're up against something like a Brand doesn't entirely care if he dies. If he's able to vomit out his R, his W, his E, it's a satisfied fight. He did all the damage he needed to do, and that'll reach the Jinx, and as you alluded to, Prone, make it a bit difficult for her to play. We'll see if the Soraka can heal through all of that. But it does look like there are some issues with Envy that he had to step away for a bit. So we will take a short break, hopefully, before starting up game number 3.
Bienvenidos a Madrid. Eso no. We are here. Let's go. No confiaron, pero mira, no. Llego con los míos y la grada explota. Le di la razón al que me quiso ver bien. Lo soñé en mi habitación y ahora en primera me ven. No te hablo del avión, vine por mi cinturón. Voy a hacer que recuerde mi nombre. No me importa cuándo ni dónde. Yo por esto la sufrí y aposté por mí como el doble. Yo no sé lo que es perder desde el 2000 y pico. Y si fallo, detrás tengo a mi equipo. No confiaron, pero mira, no. Llego con los míos y la grada explota. No confiaron, pero mira, no. Llego con los míos y la grada explota. No confiaron, pero mira, no. Llego con los míos y la grada explota.
It is time for game number 3. Untitled and 9 to 5 Grustlers looking to see who will come out on top and move on in the playoff bracket. And some interesting picks across the board. The Akali top for Grussel, the Soraka in the bot lane for Unicorn. And we'll see who's going to be able to take the deciding game.
Yeah, and Pro, and you were mentioning that this bot lane matchup not exactly great for Korean on the Jinx. So I guess like, what were you expecting down here? Are you expecting Korean to kind of just like try to shove in the lane as quick as possible to try to get a quick reset, or do you think it's a lot
Yeah, so
even?
with most mage lanes, it's just AFK farm till you have enough money for your first mana item, whether it be tier or lost chapter, and then from then on else, just poke the ADC down and keep pushing. So Jinx will have priority for the first couple waves, but as soon as Brand starts getting points into that E, that's really what makes Brand bot so heinous to play against, because he will ricochet that E off of any minion, and then combined with Nami, like you can see it already, that's the W. But once Nami has points in her E, the E poke from both of those champs is just so annoying. I don't know if Soraka will be able to keep up with it.
And we see both junglers. Looks like they're going to be panning on towards this bot lane. Dota 2 is beater actually electing to go for the Raptors, red, Krug start, and then resets. Now goes towards his bot side. Braun, on the other hand, would be taking a full clear. Red getting a pretty good trade for himself. We mentioned earlier, Akali is really reliant on the Shroud to get us away from those ghouls. Until she has it, means that the Yorick can just freely, shout at her, get the ghouls onto her.
We do see Grussel dodge away there from that mist and doesn't have the E, so he's not really able to go for the extended trade there.
-1. He lost. Somehow the wall actually blocked the cannon. So Grussel's not able to go for it.
This top lane is so chippy, bro. Already, both are down to like 200 HP, and Yorick ends up getting the push. It's pretty huge for him.
Yeah, looks like the wave was bounced back. I think Bread, interestingly, is staying over. I think the wave didn't crash entirely up in the top lane. Yeah, it's just barely outside of the tower range. Russell has full energy, so
Yeah, he's going to force Brett off the wave. Gets a nice 5-point strike, and now flashing
Flash.
in. And a late flash from Brett means first blood goes to Grussel. Now in mid lane, Envy's getting low as the mid laners are trading up a bunch. Dota 2 did lose the bot side crab, so he'll just walk up. Should be able to get the top side crab, even with his top laner dead.
and that wasn't even just a flash for flash. I mean, with the kill on top of it. Oh,
Well,
Unicorn
Unicorn's
in
getting
trouble.
Unicorn got a bit too aggressive in the lane. They're going to try to trade back as Curran uses the last of his rocket.
Mana.
Yeah, this top lane matchup, I don't think it really gets much better for the Yorick with the current state. I think once the Akali hits level 6, there's a lot of kill threat onto the Yorick. And Grussel went and go for the recall, had double amp tone, so now is plus 40 AP on the Akali. Red, we'll just quietly collect this wave, so we'll be able to get all the CS. Akali can't really do anything to prevent him. So, all lead to the side of Grussel. And I
Really
think
excited
at
to
the,
see
sorry.
how this Zehen pans out. Dota 2 has been their first time playing Zehen in this tournament, and is not typically known as a Zehen player. And this matchup, I would say, was also in the jungle not super favorable. It's incredibly hard to stick to anyone on the enemy team, and that's really what you want as Zehen, right? So should be a pretty rough game for him. I'll have to see if those buffs were enough for him as that Shuriken backflip.
Fairly even trade in the top lane so far, but the most important thing is that Grussel still is a bit short off 6, so any chip damage on the Yorick can mean lethal. So we'll see on this wave, he hits 6. Doesn't have the energy or the resistance to go for it, as Kyrian dodging out on some nice abilities.
Yeah, everyone's coming down to the bot lane, though. There's the zap onto Dragon as Zehen is lying in wait to try, but a nice
Oh
bubble
my God.
onto Curry, and he's forced to flash away. Cyrac, though, locks up the Nami into the flag and drag, and Braun is able to get the kill. Dota 2 and Evan looking for a response. Shockwave is at the ready for Envy. They know there's no flash on Currian, but they can't quite make it happen. Envy still playing aggressive, gets zapped. And now flag and dragged onto. He was maybe playing a bit too confident. The shockwave can't even be used as Braun is able to find a second kill and continue to scrap with the Zehen. So even with all interested parties showing up in the bot side, it is just 2 kills for the Grustlers.
Yeah, but those 2 kills are pretty important. I mean, it's now 3 kills across the board, across 3 different lanes. 1 death from top lane, 1 death from mid lane, 1 death from bot lane. The Grustlers are doing quite nicely in this game number 3. And I kind of want to, leak some pre-game chat. So you know how everyone has the head-to-head? I imagine every single player in DMV is used to it at this point. Well, Untitled actually, they had the option between seed number 7, Omelette du Fromage, and seed number 8, 9 to 5 Grustlers. They actually openly stated, we think the Grustlers are a better team, but we are opting to elect to choose them just for more fun. Well, it might be, biting them in the back as this game number 3 is looking competitive.
Unfortunately, losing
Yeah,
is
now
not fun, and neither is taking those trades for the Orianna there in mid, as Rise is going to take a bit before he gets up there with his scaling items, but still able to put some pressure in the mid lane. As more trading in bot side, Unicorn without flash is going to get bubbled up and seared to a crisp by Evan the Bank. Kurian going to be probably fine here as he retreats, but takes a good bit of damage.
Yeah, we can see exactly why this brand Nami is such a pain to deal with. 2 immobile champions, not 1, but 2, means that Evan DeBank can just walk up to anyone and slow them with 1 ability from Nami E, and then it's a guaranteed stun. From there, he bounces the brand ult on himself, and there's nothing that Unicorn Potato can do. And we can see picking Jinx into this bot lane was a little bit ambitious, to say the least, from Korean.
Yeah, I remember earlier, even during the gank where Braun was able to get that nice flag and drag, they landed the combo and it's "Hear from you." Oh my god, like almost like the cringe of the brand Nami combo going off. But yeah, I think it's really evident here, and that's kind of one of the unique things about Untitled is no one else does this in terms of DMV. Like no one actually drafts mage bot lanes. Actually, scratch that. Your team maybe does that with Swain, but we won't see that in playoffs, unfortunately. Yeah,
Unfortunately.
Untitled, I think. I mean, the fact that you see this Hui ban, you see the Mel ban, you see all of these different bans, Seraphine picks coming in through, and Evan DeBank is just unrelentless on these mages. It's really a strong suit for the team, and it's making its case for game number 3. Looks like Dota 2 is beater will opt in to take the dragon for this timer. On the other hand, Braun up in the top side will end up cross mapping, takes the grubs for himself. Cyrac comes in here to support.
We have at least seen in top that Bread has not quite been deterred by that early solo kill. His Tidal Wave is dropped on the bot side, but Unicorn Potato burning the Wish before taking a lot of damage themselves. So they'll at least keep the Jinx alive.
Yeah, as an 80 carry player, this is just painful to watch, bro. This is like stubbing your toe into the wall every single time you walk around your house. This is just brutal for Jinx Soraka.
You want this cannon minion? Well, actually, it looks like a Realmore comes in through.
Cyrac even flashing over the bubble. They're trying to finish the job onto the Nami, but she has flash. She's able to get away, even soak up the Death Rocket. So a lot burned from Cyrac just for that one summoner. His jungler is going to be forced to pick up that mid wave.
That doesn't relieve a lot of pressure in the bot lane, though. Cyrac with the Realm Warp kind of forces Ev to bank and Dragon. off of Korean and Unicorn Potato as they were farming under turret earlier. And with their HP bars as well, there was a chance that Evan DeBank lands a single W, lands a single E. It could transition to a kill, so some relief there, but it does mean for you to Envy picks up a solid lead for himself. You see that 20 CS lead now coming in through
Oh,
a
now
top
we
lane.
have Grussel trying to get aggressive, lines up the R2 and lines up a second solo kill as he reduces Bread to crumbs.
Yeah, as long as you're not 100% HP, Akali can kill you. This top lane Akali with Hextech Alternator and Vamp Scepter just shuts down Bread from 70% to 0 and even gets the flash off of him too. So this Akali will be a real problem.
And this is a matchup that Brett is very yummy actually opted in for himself. He had that option as the R5 last pick to pick anything into Akali. And I think in this case, the Yorick was not it. Now solo killed twice. Akali, Grussel has now picked up the Hextech Gunblade, so I mean the threat is gonna still be there. Until this Yorick hits Triforce, I don't think it's even gonna be close.
And we do have Shockwave coming down in the mid lane, but with no junglers around, it is just Envy trying to trade it out. But Cyrac with his basic abilities is doing a fair job until the Clockwork wind up and some dissonance comes through. So Envy getting in on the action with a solo.
Yeah, great play from Envy, spacing Cyrac perfectly. He knew that Cyrac had no sums because he burned ball with bot, but Braun.
Braun comes in,
Yeah, but Braun.
puts a quick end to that.
LeBron. Yeah, but I mean, hey, great solo kill, but you had to get punished for that, I guess. Braun is pretty off to the races. This lethality J4, it's kind of everything. Oh, I guess Akali too. So the top side of 9 to 5 Grustlers is really all your eggs in the basket right now.
Yeah, we do continue
I'm
to see the
interested to see how
bot
this
lane
bot lane goes.
continue to go rough as Braun is going to find Dota to his beater and has some backup from his Akali, but now there's going to be a flag and drag. The Shuriken Flip misses, but so does that Summoner spell. The Grim Deliverance to try to escape, but Braun doesn't let him. We're going to continue to see the top lane and the jungler team up for the side of the Grustlers.
I was wondering, why is Braun doing so much damage? And I look at his items. He's got an Umbral Glaive already set. So he's going full lethality in terms of this matchup. And yeah, we can see it. He's kind of just dunking all over people. Russell couldn't really contribute to that kill very much. As Bread forcing to use the Maiden to kind of get this wave shoved in. Otherwise, the Akali kind of has free reign.
Yeah, but now Braun is back in the top side, and even with the Maiden by Bread's side, it's not gonna go well for him. Grussel continuing to just find the angles and continues to put who was probably the best top laner throughout the Swiss stage in a pretty deep hole.
This is nothing like game 1 or game 2. In those games, top lane was just scrapping. You know, you get one solo kill, it's fine. I'll get a solo kill on you in return. And it just repeats and repeats and repeats. And you'll get solo kills on junglers as well that even dare enter top lane. But in this case, Grussel, you know, it just has a solid 3-0 lead, as well as Braun 4-0 lead in the jungle. This is looking like the top side of Grussel Grindset, or the Grustlers. They're doing so well.
Yeah, now we have a play onto MV. Did hold on to the flash when first getting Cataclysm, so has it for this time. Able to get away as the tower in top is getting very low and does fall. Red is trying to trade back as much as he can while Grussel doesn't have that ulti and he can keep up the pressure with the shovels, but Grussel's still doing a good job himself. Now, meanwhile, on bot side, it's the tidal wave engage onto Unicorn Potato, following up on the brand for that kill. Meanwhile, Grussel almost has perfect execution up on the top side, and for some reason we care more about this 1v1 than the 4v4, as that's going to be a nice Shuriken flip off the R. Grussel continuing to just do his work up in top side, but his team not looking great on bot. They lose the dragon, and they lose flash off of Kurian.
Yeah, it's Grussel and Braun versus the world. Well, I guess 4 people because Bread is not very, not looking too yummy right now. But we can see that Evan DeBank, this double mage side bot lane, they have so much zone control. Just exactly what these mages are known for, right? So incredibly hard for Kurian and Unicorn Potato to find purchase in any of these fights without a full frontline J4 build, right? This J4 build is really built to just one-tap someone, so you don't really have a lot of space to work with, and we can see that Korean had to burn flash. Unicorn Potato just goes down immediately after one slow. And we will just be trading sides over and over as it's the top side versus the bot side. That's the name of this game.
Yeah, it's a really weird dynamic, but I mean, if I'm Evan DeBank, I'm kind of scared for my life when I see this top side. Akali now going for the Shadow Flame. I think Grussel, sorry, Braun, once he gets that second lethality item, definitely can start one-shotting people. So Evan DeBank, I guess, after you complete this Leandries, maybe needs to opt in for Azanya's kind of survive. I think once you get that, I think the game becomes a lot easier in your hands, right? You can keep on applying the pressure, you can play forward without having to worry about a J4, not even landing the flag and drag and just landing the Cataclysm on your head. Yeah, but they have a lot of time to kind of reach up until there, right? They have the 2 dragons at their hand. Third dragon coming up in 3 minutes, so quite a long time before then. So I'm curious if you're kind of like the ball lane player here, if you're Evan DeBank, kind of how are you controlling the next 3 minutes? What are you doing here?
Well, anywhere that this Akali is, I am staying far, far away from, and that damage is not very pleasant to see. So this they just have to continuously. Ooh,
Oh, well, it
and
doesn't matter if he's facing off against the Yorick or the Orianna. Russell continuing to just, I mean, I'm running out of words at this point. He's just doing it on repeat, killing these people. But we're going to look for Evan DeBank to do the same. He gets a lot of damage on the Unicorn Potato. Maybe baits in Dota 2. The healing from the Soraka, able to put aside the Zahen. So no counter punch from the side of Untitled.
I like what Braun's doing, though. He's still hugging to the side of Grussel Grindset. He knows where his strong laners are. And extending their lead even further. Grussel Grindset now 5-0. Clears the bot lane turret, will reset. And it also gives time for Cyrac to push up in the top lane, take a turret for himself as well. As now, the side lanes are kind of where it's at for the side of the Grusslers, but mid lane you can see Evan DeBank the moment he lands a skill shot. Oh, it just spells demise for any of the bot laners of either Curian or Unicorn. So, with 1 minute and 40 seconds before this dragon, I'm curious, Prone, what do you think? What's the setup going to be like? How are both of these teams playing it?
Well, we'll see if there will even be anything as Unicorn Potato no flash.
Yeah, that goat is just going to get roasted up. Nice and easy. Not even slow cooked. A bit of a shame. But, again, Russell finds a solo kill for the side of the Rustlers. Again, I mean, 2 items on the Akali is quite nice. Braun able to heal away the Yorick off of the mid lane tower. Evan DeBank does drop the Pyroclasm for a lot of damage onto Curian, forcing out the barrier, but now Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't find the angle. Cyrac going to come in on the Realm Warp, and their target is Bread. Braun goes unstoppable. So, across the map, it is a slight edge to the side of the Grustlers.
All the kills are still on Grussel Grindset and Braun. And it's not even like anyone else needs to take part. They are just finding everything by themselves. You see 3, 3, and 2 kill participation from the rest of the team, whereas it's 7 and 8. They are really just 2v8ing this game away. 4K gold lead now and full control over Dragon.
Yeah, it really just feels like Evan DeBank versus the world at this point. Every single pick has kind of come from him. We saw last time Unicorn Potato, just a single rotation from Evan DeBank is able to take him down. But with the dragon spawning in 10 seconds, Evan DeBank, you have to have some pretty big moves.
And he's
As
getting off to a
Korean
good start with that Pillar of Flame, as Cyrac is now trying to kite out. There's a Hen Tidal Wave used on the front foot once again, but this time doesn't have much to convert. Teleport's going to be used from Bread to join up with his team.
It's a party.
We got a 5-on-5, both teams setting up. Braun.
Yeah, Braun's going to engage onto Bread, who's trying to go forward onto Cyrac, but here comes the Cataclysm onto 2. Dragon and insta flash out, but Grussel's in on top of the backline. The Shroud provides the safety, and the Kunais supply the damage. It's a 2 kill so far for the Grusser. Shockwave is big, though, onto 3, and Envy is not done. He's going to find 2 kills of his own as Braun and Grussel have to retreat, but Dota 2 is giving chase. The Zahen finds the drag back, and it's a triple kill for Envy.
Envy finds them all. Shiv, what a nasty shockwave to save that fight. And that was everything they needed and more. The game was looking so dire, but now it's dead even and a sole point, possibly, going over to Untitled.
It looks so good for the Grustlers. They got 2 free picks almost at no cost. But then you see the Pyroclasm coming through. Everyone is being slowed. Everyone is limping away. And that means Envy comes in here with the Hero Shockwave, I believe onto 3 or 4. And just the AoE damage from both of these mages just kind of sealed the deal for the fight. Fortunately, Grustle was able to escape with that 7-0 bounty, but Braun was taken down with those 5 kills, so either Envy or Evan DeBank got one of those kills, and that could be a huge, huge gold swing in their favor. And right now, we're kind of transitioning back to the pace of what we expect from both of these teams, right? Cyrac and Grustle are in the side lanes where they should be, kind of awaiting for Braun to kind of swing by that area. Maybe they can get a pick. On the other hand, Evan DeBank, Dragon, I imagine they're going to be pushing through this mid lane, kind of be our spear for their team to get some pressure through the mid lane and making sure that they can kind of congregate on these side lanes, make sure that neither Grustle nor Cyrac is able to apply too much pressure. As with this Baron being up, I don't really think either of these teams are eyeing it quite yet, but that is something that maybe can happen if a team fight breaks out.
Yeah, and the name of the game has been Zone Control for Untitled. With the Orianna and Bran, you have control over range, you have control over space. So all you need to do is keep pushing and pulling, keep tugging away at the space on the ground until someone makes a misstep and you can punish. But until then, you have to play patient. You have to play slow. That Cataclysm that started off the fight was looking pretty scary too, but they were patient. And then right after the Akali perfect execution took out Dragon immediately, they were still patient. And Envy is just biding his time. As long as he stays alive, as long as Evan DeBank, as long as they're able to fire abilities, that's all they really need to play these fights.
Yeah, Untitled really wants these kind of large, big 5v5 team fights where all those AoE abilities can come together. On the other hand, the Grustlers, they want to keep it split up. They want this Akali to get some picks. And every single time you see Grustle, he's pushing in through the bot side. He's trying to row over to the mid lane, trying to go for something like a 5v3, a 5v4, anything where they have numbers advantage. So that this Evan DeBank for you to Envy combo is broken up. Cyrac pushing through the top lane, making sure that Envy is spotted.
Well, Evan's just going to flash in with the Pyroclasm and slows up Kurian. Meanwhile, it's a play in top side as the Shockwave is not enough to get Envy out of that one. But meanwhile, it's Grustle trading back for 2. Bread is looking rough for wear, but he's got Dota 2 behind him. It's going to be Realm Warp in from Cyrac. He's going to be the lone warper and just causes Bread and Dota to think better of taking a further fight.
9 to 5 just winning everywhere on the map, and that might be Baron for them now. They lost Envy on mid, so they're okay. They said, okay, let's pull this the cross map play onto mid lane, and I don't even see what happened, but Russell Grindset came out with a double kill. So some Akali magic happened there, and there's no contest. Bread is very yummy. Just leave in the Baron. There's no way they can contest it, so might as well go farm some plates in the bot lane. But Baron over to 9 to 5 Grustlers.
I will take the executive decision to drag us back via rewind to see exactly what happened in Grustle. Because yeah, I don't think the top lane play was that important. I mean, killing the Orianna is nice, as I went way too far back. Unfortunate.
But you can see coming up shortly, Grustle kind of just roams in mid lane after pushing in through the bot lane, and kind of happened off screen, but you just see Evan DeBank get eviscerated, right? It looked like there was not even any chance. Once he burns the flash right here, Kurian kind of survives. He actually takes down Dragon right beforehand, and now auto, ult, Q. That's all it takes, and Evan DeBank is gone. And I'm not sure even if Azania is going to really help there at this point. Like, just the damage, the raw output from this 10 stack Darksteel, Akali, Shadow Flame, Hextech, Gunblade. It is way too many items for this point of the game. And with now the Baron on the side of the Grustlers, they have so much leverage on the map with this 1-3-1 comp. The Rise can push in through the bot lane, the Akali can push in through the top lane. Realm Warp, almost available, it's actually halfway on terms of the cooldown. Braun can just slip in through.
He's not dead. Oh, the board though.
2v1.
Dota 2 is around. I don't know how much he's going to be able to influence. I mean, smart stuff by Envy just took. Evacuate to the river. This Grussel is definitely not a champ to be trifled with. Maybe considering upgrading that Darksteel to a Mejaz at this point. But yeah, I mean, the side of the Grustlers, they are building this gold lead. They are on the cusp of advancing in the tournament and eliminating Untitled after they didn't drop a game all of Swiss stage. And while that's great, you can put it on a company mug. It does not mean much if it's just going to end with an elimination in quarters. As now we have an engage in mid, and Dragon just gets destroyed. Grussel now staying aggressive. Does get out before the tower shot takes them down. As now Bread is on the warpath. Kurian is locked in the ghoulie wall, but Cyrax's here to show up and show that he can provide the damage. It's going to be Dota 2 falling. It's going to be the Grustlers pressing forward.
Yeah, and even though Evan DeBank got that 1,000 gold shutdown on Grussel, I mean, the work is done. You got 2 of your kills. You end up helping in for a 3rd. And there will be the mid lane turret being taken, inhib being taken as well. I don't think they can quite go for these Nexus turrets quite yet. But look at the bot lane. They're TPing everyone in with the minions. And now, with the Baron up wave down there, they can now take this tier 2 turret. Well, actually, Dragon's up, so opts in for that instead. Untitled, I think they want to play this.
Yeah, they're trying to get everyone down here, but the Dragon is gone fast. No chance at a Miracle Soul secure. Brett is sticking around with his maiden by his side, but not much for him to do, especially now that his old pal Grussel is around the corner, is able to get out with the Blast Plant, but he will lose his dear maiden in the process.
And look at how tanky Grussel is. Level 17 Akali. 3 levels above Evan DeBank. He has no HP items, but it's comparable to the HP of this Yorick, of this Zahen. And with the Soraka, this is basically a bruiser, assassin. I said it already, but like the scaling from top lane when you're ahead is ridiculous this season.
Yeah, but right now, everyone is clumped. This is kind of what Untitled wants. And Grussel's, I think they realized, we took the mid lane inhib, we took the Dragon. I think that's enough, and we will be just going for a reset after taking a few camps. So smart choice from them. As looks like they will just reset and try to reapply some pressure on the map. Baron is still 2.5 minutes away, so I imagine they'll kind of return back to this 1-3-1. But now, with the inhib being taken, means that they can now leverage their bot lane, leverage their jungler, kind of rotate either to these top or bot lane tier 2 turrets and try to take them down. I guess Prone, in this case, right, since Untitled, you're kind of on the back foot. Kind of what avenues do you have to get back into this game? Is it mostly just kind of go for these team fights, or what is it?
Well, the very first thing they need is space, right? They need anywhere on the map that they can work with that is not a closed space or not an area where a colleague can sneak up behind you. You need to have control behind and a little bit in front. Make sure a colleague cannot get that flank, because the front to back is all you really have at this point of the game. But any advantage in numbers you can get is all you can really hope for. So the second you see Cyrax on the side wave, the second you see Grussel on the side wave, they know that both of them, no teleport on Grussel, and the Realm Warp is relatively short. So they need to use any numbers advantage they can get, whether they have to sack the wave or not, to try and find an advantage to take the fight. But other than that, it's pretty hard, I will say, to siege onto Orianna Brand. So they can stall a little bit, but I don't know if scaling is totally on their side either. Akali is doesn't really care about stats, so besides HP, I guess. But yeah, looking pretty rough.
They might just have to wait for these big timers to come on through, like the Baron in a minute. and hope that the side of the Grustlers kind of just group around. We see for you Envy very close to his death cap, has two needlessly large rods. Evan DeBank also has been sitting on a large rod for quite a while. So once those item power spikes come on through, they might have a better standing chance fighting against the Grustlers. But it also is a bit of a ticking time bomb, right? Kurian is playing Jinx, you have a Soraka on the team as well. And so the Jinx getting items can be quite scary in the late game. We'll have to see what the side of Untitled do. Red in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, Grussel's going to go in and has some assistance from Unicorn Potato, so it's not even a straight 1v1. Red does have his Maiden, but now here comes Cyrac. Red is going to get silenced on the TP, and all five members of the Grustlers are up here to make a meal out of Bread. He is going to be sliced up and served and slain. Not much for Untitled to do in response, it looks like, with Brand just pushing out mid and Zehen getting some vision.
Yeah, and that's right on the Baron spawn time. So if they want to, 95 Grustlers can just look for the engage. The objective just spawned, but Untitled is standing around as a member, as a group of 4. They're quite bold for this. It looks
Yeah,
like
I think it's a bit risky though with 9 to 5. You start the Baron, everyone's kind of clumped up together. There's a chance that Evan DeBank, just sends lobs of Pyroclasm over. But they will start this. They have complete vision control of the area. They don't actually know if the Baron has been started yet. So Untitled, you have to kind of make a risky check here.
Oh, and the risk might not look good as Grussel almost killed off Dota 2 as off screen. And the Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't find its way either. But job done. Baron secured. Dragon in 20.
Yeah, and slowly they're just accruing more and more of a lead. I don't think we'll really be seeing the Dragon Soul this game. As
Russell just
what the-
fancies himself a 1v4, but the shockwave's there. He's shut down. Brown trying to put some folks in the Cataclysm, but it's not really doing a whole lot. Zehen now trying to pop off the Wish Healing isn't enough. It's a grim deliverance from Dota 2. The carries are all dead. All the threats taken out. And now Unicorn is on the run. Ocean Soul is on the menu, but with 40-second death timers, all of Untitled are in the mid lane.
there's no way I just watched Grussel Grindset do that. That was I really don't know how to say that, but someone's gotta check the PayPal there, bro. That is a ridiculous throw. 20 seconds on Jinx and Rise. They might be able to end with, but with 2 mages, I don't think they can push fast enough, so they will just settle for the Ocean Soul, it looks like.
I'll be like, that is irredeemable, right? You have the dragon, it's for free. You
Yeah.
just took the Baron with your team. You know playing 1-3-1 is your strong suit. But for some reason, Grussel, I don't know, he was just kind of feeling himself. As now,
gonna
once
try and redeem
again,
himself
he's in
here.
here again.
This
Okay.
time he gets the sushi and he extinguishes the flame of Evan the Bank, but does need to find a way out of this one. Finds his way into the pit against Dota 2 is better after he secures the dragon, and he will secure a nice Akali as well. So Grussel making it up for a bit, but it is Ocean Soul, the main prize for Untitled.
The executive call is he is not redeemed after that one. He only gets 2 and still dies, and Dragon Soul goes over. So now the game is dead even after that kind of advantage. And now we'll have to see the Zehen did incredible work in that job, and now that he is online, backing with maybe a 3rd item, now there's so many more threats to worry about. Even Bread is a threat now. After scaling, he will have maybe Maw done. I don't know what. Yeah, he has Maw done now, so he won't get 1 tap done, I guess. But this J4 no longer super strong. He has a Mortal Reminder. So the game is an even state now.
Dare I say it, I think Bread 0-7 might actually be favored into Grussel at this point of the game. With the Ocean Soul, I don't think Akali has enough energy, has enough damage to actually output damage before Bread can sustain it. And so when it comes to the side lane, one time that it was Grussel just being undoubtedly ahead, no matter who he is into, will just be able to get side lane push. I think Bread with a Maiden can just walk in through uncontested. I don't think he actually cares about Akali anymore. So
Yeah.
critical mistake from Grussel that could be game ending, but the one thing that's very nice is he will still one-shot Evan DeBank and Dragon. He will still one-shot those targets. And Kurian is still playing Jinx as for items, so the scaling is there, but what I thought was kind of a done deal of a game is now really even between both of these teams.
Yeah, and as much of a throw as it was from Russell Garnset, it was a catch as well. There has to be a receiver on the other end. And that four-man Zahen W. I don't know if everyone caught it, but it hit every single champion on the side of 9 to 5. And that was really what got the other four members killed. The Grim Deliverance to follow it up, and then the flash knockup in the end. The Zahen was fully online with those stacks fully stacked up. So now he's a threat too. The Zahen scaling is monstrous.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Maybe Dotua's beater can kind of make more impact in these fights. Earlier on the Zahen, we weren't quite seeing much, but now 3 items, Triforce, Sterix, as well as the Sundered Sky. To see how this game progresses, how the 1-3-1 plays out. Is Grussel able to match Bread up here? Looks like they're opting in for a pick instead. They have a bit of a vision trap going on here. No one's quite checking it yet, as it's so scary to even walk in through as Dragon. Red?
Red should
Eat
be
out.
able to get out of that one. So they send all 5 for him again. Not going to pan out that time. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
Untitled,
look at
we've
balling.
seen games like this kind of from them before. We've seen games where their Nexus is exposed down to half HP and they're able to bring games back. This game being down 6-7K against a comp that has late game threats in the Rise and the Jinx. Soraka healing them up. And it just didn't matter. They were able to, like you said, receive the throw, and now they're pushing through with the super minions in mid. They are not giving in to what is the strength of the Grustlers comp. They are not giving them opportunities for those picks, 4 opportunities in the side lane. They're staying as that core unit and making sure no one gets picked.
I think with the Baron spawning in 20 seconds, I think we're going to see a team fight. There's not exactly any time for a 1-3-1 to be set up. You don't see the Akali pushing in the bot lane. You don't see Ryze pushing in the top lane. I think we're just going to flat out have a 5-on-5,
It's
and
an ARAM. It's an ARAM.
we'll see. We'll see. Grussel, where he moves here. Red moving into the bot lane, making sure that there's no chance of any pressure being applied in the side lane. But that also means... Oh, Red's go... I think Grussel's going in. Grussel's going in.
Yeah, it's going to be the Zahen maybe caught out as Grussel. This time, he's able to get out from the ill-advised engage. Still burning down his Brone. Needs to evacuate as well. Evan the Bank on the warpath has the Nami to support him. Kurian is just getting his face melted. He's able to get away, but a beautiful bubble onto Cyrac. Now he has to flash back defensively. It is Untitled now on the front foot pushing away, while Bread is getting work done in topside.
Yeah, and this is going to be a good Baron window as they see all 5 members back up. Brett is in a little bit of a rough spot, but if he trades for Baron, it is worth it every day. There'll be great flash from him.
And
So
now
guys,
onto
I
the
don't know
Baron
if he
they
even
go.
dies
Is that
there. He has
half
like 6K
HP? It's going to be a teleport in from Grussel. And maybe they're peeling for the fight on the side of Untitled. They see the teleport go over their heads. They have the Ori Bowl to watch out for vision. They have Scryers as well. They have eyes on the threat. Braun is maybe looking. No Cataclysm just yet. As now Bread is the one marking Grussel off on the flank and keeping him at bay. All that magic resist getting put to good work. As Grussel can't fancy himself this 1v1 anymore. Has to try to hide in the shroud before he can maybe evacuate. Pulls him with the Krug wall, but gets tagged with the mist again. And this 1v1 is looking very Bread favored. He was getting munched on so much earlier. Grussel's going to get a nice R angle over the wall, but Elder has spawned on the other side of the map. And with the Fed Akali nowhere to be seen and down below 20% HP, it is Untitled starting it up.
Yeah,
No
Grussel has
TP,
teleport
no
either,
ult.
Yeah.
Braun
This
is
is
really
Akali
close.
not in the fight.
yeah,
Neither
Dota,
top laner is in the fight.
Dota 2 and the
Yeah.
rest of the team do peel off. As they're maybe searching around, they're going to have Evan the Bank to clear out the mid wave. But I mean, Bread has the ability with the Maiden to push away on the top side if he wants to try to force someone to him. And for now, that's
They're
going to be
calling
Cyrac.
Cyrac because he has the Realm Warp. He doesn't have the TP. He has Ghost in this game. So he can, at the very least, make a bit of a distance with the Realm Warp to get there. But Bread, I mean, the turret is almost taken, and with the gems, he's just going to go for it.
Dear, and now Cyrac is caught on the other side of the W. The wish to try to get the Rise out to safety. He's trying to pump all the damage, but the Yorick keeps healing. He buries the Rise down in the dirt. As now Braun has to show up, and they're getting pulled away by the Yorick. Grussel trying to go in, but a nice Zhonya's from the bank. Is it going to mean anything? Grussel now trying to flip his way out of this fight. He's not able to find an assassination. Does flash away from the shockwave. Has a shuriken onto Evan. No Zhonya's now for the brand, but Bread continuing to just bring the Grustlers to him. Elder should be secured. We've got Jarvan and Akali lurking around, but now Bread needs to be a bit careful of this Jinx. Dragon down below 8k HP as they're holding damage for now. Evan is running out of mana, but they have Envy on the flank. Braun now might be caught out. If they can kill the Jarvan, there will be no chance at a steal. He's down to Guardian Angel. And that leaves Dragon and Dota 2 to secure the objective. It will be Elder as Kurian is trying desperately to get the kill, but he's locked in the ghoulie wall. Russell is trying to find another exit kill, but Ori Ball provides vision. It is Elder, it is Ocean Soul, and it is the game tilting in favor of Untitled.
And now Baron is up again for you to envy, has teleport available. They'll just keep chaining these plays together off of the death of Braun. And now 9-5 Grustlers trying to grasp at the coattails of success they once were solely wearing are now going to have to face against the double buffs of Doomshiv.
Untitled is going to reset right here. They're going to grab all the items that they can. And I think they're going to make a break for this last game-ending push. It is on the Grussels here to defend everything that they can to kind of survive any hope, the chance, the series of the playoffs before any elimination happens. And it's 5 people mid lane. Red is very yummy, going to the bot lane, pushing in through. Opting in now just to drop bot lane and go straight to mid lane entirely. They really want this mid lane end. They really want to go for these Nexus turrets. And we'll see if it happens.
The Cannon Wave now going to move on in and let them siege up in the mid lane. Russell was maybe looking for a flank, thinks better of it and recalls.
You still have the Rise, you still have the Jinx. A lot of these carries can do damage, but with the Elder, there's too much threat of walking up. Having to bank can just lob a skill shot, slow someone down. They're taking it easy, they're taking it slow, they're going for the inhibs. They have all the minions. Now,
oh, and now Evan's just gonna flash it, and Kurian is gonna get melted! The Elder Laser eviscerates the bot lane. Cyrac now trying to make a move over to get something back, but his Nexus towers are taking a punishment. Broan looks for an engage onto Evan the Bank, but Grussel can't really join him. The Kings will not be deterred. The 9-5 Grustlers cannot hang with them during the night shift, and Untitled will move on to semifinals.
I'm so speechless about this game. That is unbelievable. They got some kind of plot armor, some kind of rigging going on in the background. Someone whispering in Grussel Grindset's headset. By all means, they were not slated to win this game. They were not favored by any means, but somehow they win. They won this game.
Yeah, Untitled. I don't know if you're gonna be. I mean, you're definitely gonna feel relief right now, but I don't know if you're feeling happy about that game. It really was not in your hands. I mean, Grustlers, they had the Baron, they had the stronger 1-3-1. I mean, Grussel Grindset was basically 12 kills on the Akali until I really don't know what to call it. It almost was like some mind control, but they did take advantage of the play. They were made sure that they stayed strong. They stayed to their strong suit. Evan DeBank landing all these AoE spells, setting up Envy in that one team fight really gave them hope. inside of the game. And then from there, they latched on at any mistake the Grustlers made and capitalized on it. And you just see how quickly it turned. Red, able to push in through the top lane, no resistance, was completely taking in 1v2s, 1v3s, applying all the pressure. And then Baron being taken, Elder Soul being taken, and it just toppled from there.
Yeah, that does mean we'll have to say goodbye to the Grustlers getting eliminated here. So Grussel, Braun, Cyrac, Kurian, and Unicorn gonna have to bow out. Solid showing. You get credit for pushing the number one seed, but not being able to finish the job will definitely sting. We do have another quarterfinals match going on right now between the Silk Road Shaitans and Big Rat. We are going to see if I can use Twitch correctly.
Oh, maybe we go for a quick interview. I'm not
Oh
sure if
yeah,
we
go
have
for it.
time. Let's go quickly ask. I think, at least for me, my MVP would go towards Evan DeBank. I think he was kind of like that sole resistance in game number 3. Had a bit of a shaky game number 1, but even then, I think was it's just a consistent factor for the team and really helped them stay alive in that last game.
Yeah, I agree. I would have to give it to Evan the Bank too, but a close second would go over to Forage Envy. He did hit that shockwave that won them that one fight at Third Dragon that kept them alive long enough for another throw to happen. So if not for that shockwave, I thought the game would have been over ages ago.
It looks like we got the go ahead from Evan DeBank, so we will be able to drag him in.
This-
All right, hello,
Hello.
hello.
Oh my god.
Congratulations on the
Hi.
really yeah, not even close, right? Not even close. 2-1 victory.
Not even close.
Oh my god. Adrenaline is running high, that's for damn sure. Oh my god. Yeah.
I mean, I think just reactions to that last game. I guess did you
Yeah.
did it go as expected? Obviously, mid game there is some huge moments. Can you break us through it?
Okay, honestly, I was extremely tilted after game 1. So everything after that is almost a blur. And I gave my mid and top laner a stern talking to, let's put it that way. I think Envy responded pretty well. He locked in game 2. He went 5-0 on Ari. I'm pretty proud of him. Brad, on the other hand, he has this tendency to he just likes to fight, bro. He just likes to fight. And the guy's GM, and if you just chill, we're gonna win the game. So I'm a little upset that he died 7 times, but that he saw Heaven's number and he locked in. So,
Yeah, let it be known. No one kills bread is very yummy 8
eight
times and
times.
wins
It
the
doesn't happen.
game.
It does not happen. No, but the
That
ending of
might
the
have been
game, I don't know.
that might have been the most useful 0-7 top laner I have ever seen. I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely, absolutely. Like props to
guys,
him for that. Yeah.
guys barreling down the inhib turrets.
Absolutely.
Um,
I will say we should have lost that game 100%. They threw one fight, 1 or 2 fights, and that was it, right? We'll out team fight almost every team, and we out macro almost every team. If we give enough silly deaths, we might lose, and that's what happened this game, right? But in terms of like team fighting macro, like playing together as a team, we will win. It's just individually we almost lost ourselves this series.
yeah, I want to kind of break into some of the pre-game chat. So you end up choosing the Grustlers, even though you thought that they were the stronger team of the two. I
Yeah.
guess this was the first time in a series that you guys have even lost a single game. So even in during the Swiss stage, you went 2-0. It was completely undefeated, series undefeated, games undefeated. I guess was there any sort of reason why this series felt so difficult compared to the other series?
Um, Oh, I 100% know the answer to that, and I'm not going to tell you because I think other
Okay.
teams will be able to exploit it. I will say, as a captain, I left it up to a poll, and I regret leaving it up to a poll. I would never go like if I could go back in time. There's no world where I'm picking the Grustlers, right? I would pick Omelette du Fromage every single time. I knew it was the harder matchup, but they wanted to play against it because our jungler's friends with Grussel, and they thought it would be funny, I guess. I think Envy, our mid laner, actually thought they were the easier team. But no, I knew they were harder. And then when they picked it, I was tilted off the face of the earth. But like at that point, I'd already sent out a poll, right? So it is what it is. And then yeah,
Yeah,
I
well, I
thought
wanted to so you mentioned being tilted after game one, and especially after the early game that happened this game. What was going through you guys' comms leading up to that third dragon where Envy hit that critical 4-man shockwave, I believe, and then also up to the play where Russell tossed y'all back the game.
okay. Low key, our comms look like our jungler is calming the other jungler. Envy, our mid laner, like he monologues his life. He'll be like, "Wow, Ryze is such a broken champion." Like he'll monologue everything. Oh, I took a really bad trade. I'm down 200 HP, and it tilts the shit out of me sometimes. I can't even lie. And then he hits the 4-man Orianna ult, and he goes, "Wow, guys, I should play Orianna more often. This looks broken." And that is like all. That is what our comms sound like. That is the whole thing. Yeah, and we're like, "Oh," and then Brent's a funny guy. He'll just be like, "Oh my god, guys, my team is so good. Oh my god." No, there's like we're kind of hella unserious. Like there's no, we're shouting or like we're actually, bro. We're kind of just trolling. Which could
Yeah,
be a little better, I think.
sounds like the vibes are great.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe everyone besides me. I can't lie. I was really tilted after game one. Like I don't know, losing like that. It really did feel like we would just lose the series. I do think this is the second best team in the tournament. I don't think it's particularly close though. Like I think they are significantly better than the other teams.
Oh,
I'm
interesting.
honestly shocked that they're eighth. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the fact that they're eighth seed, but I think you put so much praise up to them. Really, also just kind of attests that it's really interesting that you guys ended up choosing them for your first match. But at least that means that the hardest matchup in your eyes are out of the way. So maybe that leaves a lot of more room open for rest of the other matchups to kind of go by easily. And with that, I believe your next matchup is either between the current streamed match, the Silk Road Shaitans versus Big Rat. Any expectations there? Anyone you think is, I guess, any predictions on who's going to win, as well as who would rather face?
Let me wait. So Silk Road Shaitans, this is Hoptech's team? Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're both in call down there. I
Okay,
forgot
and
the
Big
rosters.
Rat. I don't think we've played Big Rat or scrimmed Big Rat. I think they are looking at their looking at their OPGGs, I think they're a worse team. I also think their captain was subbed out halfway through the tournament, right? The one?
Yes.
Yeah. I
Okay.
believe I think he's in like Korea or Japan right now.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how the series is going. I think Hoptech team will come out on top. I hope they don't. I'm low-key a Hoptech hater this tournament. I just think like if it's your own tournament, you can't win. It looks bad,
Okay.
and he's already won
Who is it?
before,
Who is
right?
it?
So you gotta hope he loses, otherwise everyone's gonna call it rigged. So I'm hoping he loses. For the future of DMV. Yeah, that's my thought.
Based take.
Yeah, but I don't think Team Big Rat is like the best looking team. Silk Road Shaitans, I also don't think is the best looking team, but I think they're stronger than Big Rat. I think Grussel Grindset's team would beat both of them, like very significantly beat both of them. So I don't know. That's just my opinion, though,
Let's
right?
see. Yeah, Shiv, you have any closing thoughts? Any final questions?
Nothing from me.
It sounds good. Well, with this 2-1 victory, I imagine there might be some either retrospecting or reviewing to do. Not the cleanest victory, but a victory nonetheless. Congratulations and best of luck in the future.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
And with that, that is gonna end us off here for a very interesting first quarterfinals. But there is plenty more action to
Banger.
be had. As did I do this right? I think so. Why is B Morse's channel flagged for mature audiences?
Hey, he's a mature guy. What can you say?
Oh, you might have to wait 3 minutes or something like that
Oh yeah, because we're on delay.
before you send in the
Whatever. If
yeah,
they want to listen to the
Twitch is no.
interview, they can. I don't know exactly. We of course always know how raids work, and I've never not done it before. So, but yeah, that match between the Silk Road Shaitans and Big Rat will be taking place over there to see who will advance to play Untitled. Any closing thoughts from you two gentlemen for today?
At least for me, I think I was not expecting this match to be as close as it was. It really at that third game could have been anyone's win. Russell Grindstead could just have been taking down the undefeated champions. So I'm expecting this playoffs to be really, I mean, awesome. Looking forward to. I think all these teams can take on each other, and we should have some really good games.
Yeah, if anyone is to be Untitled, kick off your top laner and sub in Russell Grindstead, I think is the way to win this series. I'm joking. Please God, don't do that. But yeah, anyone that wants to be Untitled has some studying to do because this was the way to do this, and we should protest for this match result to be 2-2 because this game could have gone to anyone. And guys, I was just happy to be here for Game 3. What a banger series! I'm jealous of y'all for being able to see two other games.
I just want to quickly mention the hounding on Grussel. I think, by the way, phenomenal player. That guy was probably the reason that they had a lead in that game.
The
One
entire
small
league, yeah.
mistake can do that. So it is unfortunate, but the Grusslers did their best. I think they were definitely, as Evan DeBank said, one of the strongest teams going into playoffs. So they should stand tall, hold their heads high, and look forward to the future if there's any tournaments.
Yeah. Well said there. And with that, that is going to conclude it for us today for DMV Rivals Winter. Have a good night, everyone.
So I think here